And a pleasant good afternoon and welcome to the finals of the Amas over 50s T20 tournament here at the BNOC ground in Woodburn St. Philip in the east of the beautiful country of Barbados. This final brings together the defending champions and unbeaten as well in this year's edition of the tournament. The veterans up against the lamers. I can quickly endeavor to run through the teams for you. Brian Johnson, the captain of the veterans, Anthony Morris, Ron Bates, Raymond O'Geese, Pedro Agard, Ian Drakes, Jeffrey Lafon, Leon Lane, Winston Warren, Orion Bostic, Alan Young, and the lamers, who coincidentally are one of the two teams who would have won this tournament. 4 editions of the tournament. The veterans good enough to have won 2 years, and the lamers as well good enough to have won 2 years as the rain continues to build over to the south of the ground. The lamers team includes Keith Seal, Victor Patrick, vice captain, Michael Agard, Ken Mears, as some showers begin to come across the ground again, Dave Clark, Adrian Braffett, Derwin Thompson, Dave Estwick, Len Gill, Winston Giddens, and Curtis Innes. The toss earlier this afternoon was won by the captain of the Lamers team, Mr. Keen Seif, and without hesitation, he decided to bat. As I say, a pleasant good afternoon and welcome to my fellow commentator and analyst, Mr. Andy Payne.
Good evening, Kurt. Good evening to the viewers, everyone here. Toss won by the Limers. I'm sure like Keith C decided to bat. You know, he coming off a semi-final win when he batted first and posted a score on the board. So always putting scoreboard pressure on Kurt. And you think that your runs on the board or runs on the board and put pressure on the opposition. Also, Kurt, of some interest, I think Keith Seal said after the last game, he found that in the second half of the innings, the wicket started to crumble a little bit and it got a bit slower when the ball got a bit older. So those are some of the factors that I'm sure would have helped to his decision.
Well, yes, the players are in the middle. Also in the middle are the 2 umpires, Mr. Alex Bellamy and Mr. Earl Cullimore, the 2 guys charged with the responsibility of enforcing the rules in this one. As we see all the players over in the middle, observing a moment of silence for a fallen comrade, Mr. Eddie Carter, who was a stalwart here at the BNOC ground as well, Payne. He was also a stalwart at the Dover Club, also a stalwart of the Gall Hill Football Club. And as we pay our respects over in the middle, a good tribute there by the members of both teams and the umpires.
Yes, Eddie Carter, a guy who's very well known and loved throughout the cricket circles, Kurt. I tell you, I played a lot of with Eddie in my earlier days, and a man who really enjoyed his game and enjoyed a good time in the dressing room as well. So a very good tribute there paid to Eddie Carter on this occasion. Eddie was also the manager of the veterans team in this said competition at some time, Kurt. So condolences again to Eddie on his passing and to his relatives and friends, and let's the competition get on here, Kurt.
A real befitting of the man, the memento given by both players, both teams to this good gentleman in Eddie Carter. And as we get ready now, down to the business end of the tournament, Andy Payne, the veterans team, they've unbeaten in the tournament. Your thoughts on how the veterans would have gone?
Veterans are a very good team, Kurt. Very experienced. They've had a lot of good players. They have the likes of Brian Johnson, the captain, Ron Bates. I mean, having that pair in any team together, that's a big combination. And also, they've got the experience of players like Pedro Agard and Mike Matthews and that lot. So, a very, very good team. They've played together for some time as well, Kurt. So, there's a very well all unit, and they know each other very well.
Yeah, the veterans, a team put together for a long, long time. They really haven't changed a lot. Even in the draft, they still somehow managed to get their best combinations together. As we look at the leading performers in the tournament, you mentioned Ron Bates coming into the runs chart. Just 32 runs behind the tournament's leading run scoring Adrian Braffett, who's also playing in this game. And then Brian Johnson, who you also mentioned as well, the captain of this veterans team with 220 runs. So anytime you've got 2 batsmen in the top 3 batsmen in the tournament, Andy Payne, you're definitely doing something right.
Yes, and not to be left out is this one. Raymond O'Geese, he's the tournament's leading wicket taker, Kurt. He's picked up some 15 wickets to date. A man who's very accurate and always there or thereabout. So with those performances, Kurt, you can see automatically why the veterans are in this final.
Well, yes, and one of the things about the veterans team, not that we're harping on the veterans because we have to speak a bit about the lamers as well, but one of the things about the veterans team, they always seem, even when they find themselves in tricky situations at the pin, they always seem to be able to find a way. They don't seem to panic. They always seem to find a way to get over the line.
Yeah, that's the experience in the team and the know-how. They've also known the know-how. They've got that wit to get over the line sometimes. And again, those important players, they've been there before. They know how to do it, Kurt.
Yeah, for me, the Limers team, Andy Payne, it's all about how they go in the power play. They've gone back to Michael Agard at the top. Ken Mears has really struggled but he's also going to partner Airguard at the top. Airguard has been sparkling in the few games that he has played, but he really needs to go deep into this innings because as one of the guys at the top of the innings, Airguard is one of the more explosive players in the tournament, and if he gets going, then the Limers really will be large and in charge.
Yeah, he had a knot in the semifinals, Kurt, and he looked in good form. He was hitting the ball very well. His timing was on. So, and he's one who can also get it over the top in the power play. So in that segment, he's a dangerous player. Ken Mears needs no introduction. Like you said, he's been one who's been off form. But you can't rule him out, Kurt, because of his enthusiasm and his big appetite to score big runs. You can never rule him out in the final.
But as we wait for the umpires to indicate that they're really ready to go, as we look to the south and the pane where the weather was really building, it realized with the strong breeze that that weather has drifted over to the west again and over to the south. Now it looks a bit clear again. As we look to the east, clear blue skies, and hopefully the weather will stay away. We can have an interesting and competitive final.
Yeah, we want an uninterrupted final, Kurt, like you said, but the breeze is very strong here at the Woodburn ground. So with that, you can see why the clouds are moving so quickly.
So, umpire Earl Cullimore has just indicated to the scores and our producer, Mr. Philip Hackett, that he's ready to go. So we're off and running. 2 p.m. start, prompt Andy Payne. First delivery of this all-important Amas over 50s final. A delivery which is bringing Airguard forward and then back and strokes it into the offside up to Leon Lane. And there's no run. Ian Drakes, the left-handed spinner, former fast bowler, now off a shortened run. And he's been doing well for the veterans team at the top of the innings. Both deliveries being turned into the onside, and Ken Mears, Andy Payne surprisingly really interested in that quick single.
Yes, he had enough real estate in the leg side. Ron Bates coming around from that short fine leg position. He had a long way to go to his left. So easy single. So Ken rightfully responded in the affirmative to give his partner Mike Airguard his first runs.
So one without loss. So the Limers, remember, they won the toss. They're on their way, one without loss. We're in over number one. It's being delivered by Ian Drakes. He has a slip in LaFawn. There's a man at backward point. There's a man at cover point. There's a man in at a deepish extra covered. Leon Lane, 3/4 of the way to the boundary at long off. There is a man, Anthony Young, at long on O'Geese on that forward mid-wicket or corner boundary. They've just asked Warren to come a bit straighter in that mid-wicket, and Ron Bates by him loans himself at backward square leg. Mears immediately off the mark with an easy single, just coming on onto the front foot and guiding the delivery Payne into the onside. There's, as you said, a lot of vacant real estate on the leg side and picking up an easy single. So rotation of the strike going to be very important here, Payne.
Yeah, they're very watchful. You can see them, Kurt, just having a good look at Ian Drakes, who's become very accustomed in this role now as well, opening the ball in here from this to northern end. Like you said, just erring a little bit on the leg side, and the batsman being very watchful and helping those ballers in the leg side.
As we look at Ian Drake's overall starts in the 5 years of the tournament, and he's one of the leading wicket takers with 44 wickets as a delivery outside the all stump. Driven square, gone for one. Orion Bostic is after it, coming around to his left, and another single to Airguard.
Yeah, what's been good about Ian Drakes there, like you said, he was erring a little bit on the leg side, but this time he's compensating a bit on the offside, and especially to someone like Mike Airguard, who's very strong on that offside area. They had that man at the sweeper area, but his length was a bit back of the length, which was a good compensation to what he did previously.
Long way down, both batsmen in the middle, and this in is a real mix-up. Ken Mears looking for a quick single. As you were saying, there was a lot of vacant real estate in the onside, but Winston Warren, who was just brought around about 5 paces to his right pane, there was a delivery played to the right of Winston Warren. He came in, yes, no, between the two batsmen, and in the end, a really bad mix-up, and it's not the start that the Limers would have wanted on the pin.
Yeah, a lot of indecision there by the pair, and Ken Mears coming a long way down when he was getting no response from his man, Mike Airguard, and he found himself a long way down when Warren got onto that delivery and was able to send an easy return into Pedro Airguard, who had no difficulty at all in taking the bills off for the first wicket for the veterans. They are happy, very much so, Kurt.
So not a good start at all, but I can assure you that the veterans will be the happier of the two teams already in over number one. Anytime you gift a wicket away, usually it's considered gifting a wicket away by the run-out rope pin, especially inside the power play when the only two fielders allowed outside the circle. Finding one of them, and Winston Warren coming around to not what was his good side as well, left-handed batsman. Payne coming around to his right, and both batsmen yes, no. And in the end, both of them stuck in the middle. And Ken Mears, the unlucky one to go up by the run-out route.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of indecision. And this is two singles that they were taking a bit earlier, Kurt, as well. So just surprised that with that indecision, there was a lot of room in that area, vacant room, but it needs two to make a single.
The new batsman is Derwin Thompson, who's driving back down the track back to Ian Drakes, who in his follow-through fields and to close out over number one at the end of it. Remember, the Limers team, they won the toss, decided they wanted to taste first knock. Already in early trouble, 3-for-1.
Yes, Kurt. Good early strikes for the veterans. I'm sure that he said they're very happy to get that early wicket. And an easy wicket in the end because they didn't have to work too hard for it. Ken Mears succumbing to the run-out route. The ball played into the leg side. Again, he didn't get a response from his partner, Michael Agar, that he would have liked. And Winston Warren just swooping on it and getting that easy return to Pedro Agar, who just took the bails off and then found himself in a bit of trouble, the Limers.
What is interesting, Payne, is the continuing rotation of the batting order by the Limers team. Losing an early wicket, and you see they've asked Derwin Thompson, the former police player, and good enough to have been invited to national trials, and they're given the responsibility yet again, coming at the top of the order.
Well, Derwin Thompson needs no introduction. He's a very utility player, Kurt. You remember in the semi-finals, he also took the wicket-keeping gloves before he came on to bowl. So he's the man entrusted now to put a total there and build a partnership in this middle order.
So it's going to be a trial by spin as Anthony Morris, really the chief cook and bottle washer of this, the Amas over 50s competition, comes into the attack. Another delivery which is punched into the offside. And as you said earlier, Payne, the veterans team look like a really well-drilled unit in the outfield as well. A delivery which is bringing the batsman forward. Ron Bates in at short mid-wicket. And yet again, 3 dot balls. Good start, good tight stuff on offer here by Anthony Morris early in the piece. Delivery which is lofted. And I can assure you that's going to be maximum number one as Michael Agar giving some room outside the off stump, allowed to Fleer's arms this time, Payne, and opening up a maximum to Agar takes him up to 8 and he's scored up to 9-for-1.
Like I said, Mike Agar, I saw him that semi-final game, Kurt, and he seems to be in good form, striking the ball well, and that was a very lofty hit off of Anthony Morris, who's usually very tight.
And yet again, Morris this time coming back in closer to the stumps, bringing the batsman forward. So as I said earlier, Agar is the key, especially inside of the power play. A delivery is coming forward and whipping it into the onside, going for a quick single this time. But this time, the response is good from the man at the non-strikers and then Derwin Thompson, and easily through for a single to close out over number 2, Andy Payne. At the end of it, the Limers team, remember their captain Keith Seal, won the toss. They're 10-for-1.
Yes, testing over there by Anthony Morris. Like you said, he's one who's known to bowl very tight. He's just giving that one a bit of air, and Mike Agar capitalized on that. Hit it a long way over that long on area for maximum. But Mike Agar, like we said, Kurt, he's in good form. He's been timing the ball very well, and he's utilizing the long on once he's getting close enough to it.
$10-for-1. It looks like Ian Drakes will continue from the northern end of the ground. Andy Payne, he still has a slip in play, in position. A man at backward point, a man at cover point, a man on the point boundary as well in Orion ball stick, a man at mid-off inside the circle, a man at backward square, a man at mid-wicket, and a man at long on. So they've opted now for the man not on the forward square or corner boundary, and for Agar, they've got ball stick strategically placed on the point boundary, Payne.
Yeah, good move against Agar. Like I said, he's throwing that offside, and I think Drakes will walk the ball him as wide on the outside as he can and into the pitch, and that's him to hit it on that area as opposed to that mid-wicket area, which the win as well is a very important factor here, Kurt.
Delivery coming off the pads, taken at slip, but no chance of a dismissal there. So as you said, Drake's looking to operate on or about that off stump, going into the wicket and trying to force Agar to hit through the offside. Agar this time though is going on the onside past that man Warren. They've gone for 1, and I can assure you that's all they will be as Winston Warren is quickly onto it. So 1 more to the score, 11-for-1. Agar into double figures, and with him is Derwin Thompson. Yet to open his account, he's just faced 1 delivery, Payne, but with a lot of work to do.
Yes, and he's competent enough, Thompson. Like you said, he's very experienced. Kurt, you said he was good enough to go to national trials. He was pretty close to a player in a lot of people's opinion. But he's a man who knows to be very prolific in the Division One era of his period. So Kurt, the winds continues to be very strong here. As you see, it just bills just blowing around. I'm sure they'll probably have to get the heavier bills at some point. But I think we're back and ready for play.
Delivery into the offside, full delivery. Thompson coming onto the front foot and pushing it into the offside where Leon Lane is at home again, and there is no run. That's a good delivery by Drakes, hurrying Thompson into another defensive stroke, and this time closing the back face and getting this one into the onside pin, but a good delivery by Drakes.
Yeah, good tactic again. Like you said, these players have played together for a long time, Kurt, so they know each other's, and they probably know that if he's going to be a bit suspect, it will be a bit straighter. So you can see Drakes just doing just that. On that occasion, he's going a little wide, but he's got the protection. So I must give it to Ian Drakes here. He's into a really good spell, Kurt.
There was a delivery left alone outside the all stump, taken by wicketkeeper Agard, standing up to the stumps for the left arm spin. And the delivery this time coming inside his stumps and looking to turn it into the onside to close out over number 3. And at the end of it, you remember the Limers, they won the toss pin. Agard is on 10. Thompson yet to open his account. 11 for 1. The wicket gone. Ken Mears unluckily ran out in the over number 1.
Yeah, another good wicket over there by Ian Drakes, Kurt. Like you said, he's very strategic with his planning. He's bowled to Michael Agar. You see him bowling a bit on the off stump where he's got that protection. And when he's bowling to Derwin Thompson, he decided he would bowl a bit straighter. So a good tactic by Ian Drakes. And he was good enough to execute so far. And then hence the restriction of the scoring. And again, being losing that early wicket, I think this period, they know they've got a lot of work. They will want to see them through this power play period, Kurt, if they're going to have any impetus later down the back end of the end.
Alpine, you were a former opening batsman in your time. But in this stage now where you got the power play, you want to capitalize on the power play, but you've lost that early wicket. What would your thought process be like?
Well, just as I said, you need to get a partnership. You just got to have a plan in your mind what total you want to get out without losing the second wicket. So I'm saying if they can get up to 30, 40 without losing the second wicket in this power play area, I think they'll be in a good position. You don't want the game to get away from you too quickly, Kurt. So even if you're a bit slow, you can always catch up at the back end.
Lovely shot punch to the offside. This should run fairly close to the boundary. It doesn't have the legs to get there as Ogis, the tournament's leading wicket taker, is after it and tends his return up to the keeper's end. The batsman Agard has enough time to complete 2 runs, so he's up to 12, really doing the bulk of his scoring for the Limers team, 13 for 1.
I'm sure that's his role. He's that type of player, Kurt. He'll be busy. Like I said, his timing's been good. Anything on that off-stump area, he's pretty strong. It's said there's just 2 men outside in this power play period, and this is where he can capitalize. But in the same time, Kurt, he wants to be as restrictive on his wickets as well.
As Morris yet again, as he usually does, being really, really economical and really stingy up front, brings the batsman forward and yet again stifling the scoring. Anthony Morris, he looks uncomplicated, but he really puts the ball in some good areas.
That's the strength of Morris all the years, Kurt. He's got good variations. He pushes and he pulls it. He just knows when and who. He utilizes the field and his feeders, and he's been very good at this job throughout his career.
Yet again, driven into the offside, so pressure continues to build pain. So far, we've had some 15 dot deliveries already in the innings, and we're in over number 4. Deliveries is bringing the batsman forward, and this time, Derwin Thompson with a bit of urgency at the non-strikers and calling Agard through. A bit of a wayward return coming from the fielder there, but backed up in the offside by Ron Bates. So another single taken pain, 14 for 1.
Yeah, very well played there by Mike Agar. That one's a little wide, a bit slower as well by Morris, but he was good enough. He waited on it and opened up the face and just played it past that man at the slip region to be able to pick up a good single. So good hands on that occasion there by Michael Agar.
If you're just joining us, remember this is the finals of the Amas over 50s competition here at the BNOC ground in Woodburn, St. Philip. Brings together the legends the Limers up against the veterans. A delivery from Morris is bringing the batsman Thompson forward to close out over number 4 inside the batting power play, playing really not fast going, but as you said, probably just trying to get in, trying to make a partnership together, and then catch up at the back end. After 4 overs, the Limers winning the toss and deciding to bat. Agard on 13. Thompson still yet to open his account, 14 for 1.
Yes, another steady over there by this man, Anthony Morris. Like you said, he continues to be economical. He's very experienced. He knows his work. He's done this a lot of times, Kurt, over his career. Kurt opened up that new ball with his slow off spinners and just knows how to vary his pace against each batsman, and he's so good at it. I think it's like eating food to him these days. But good work again there by this man, Anthony Morris.
Drakes to continue. 2 overs, no middles, none for 4. So he's also supported Morris Weller from the northern end. Captain has been inspired by what he's seen so far and trusting him with the 3rd over. Another full delivery. And Agard only good enough to drive it back to the bowler. Delivery outside the yard. So there was Agard attempting to tug it into the onside region. This one should run into the boundary, a bit fortuitous for Agard, but a boundary nonetheless paying, and I'm sure the Limers team will appreciate that boundary. Agard.
That's the thing about Agard. Just seeing the room on that one on the offside, Kurt, and he went for a slug sweep, but getting it off the inside edge and eluding the round breaks there at that short fine leg area and into the boundary for 4. But they'll take them however they come. But again, it just says fortune favors the brave.
18 for 1. No field change. In fact, the man from slip has dropped back to short 3rd man after that shot. And there's Agard driving at the delivery outside the yard stump. Not taken cleanly by the keeper, but hasn't really gone too far. So the keeper quickly from behind the stumps does the tidy end up. The score will remain on 18 for 1.
Who's also an Agard, Pedro. But yeah, Ian Drakes again just giving that one a little bit of air again. And Agard going for the big shot and failing to capitalize.
Short delivery tugged into the onside. So Agard should pick up his 18th run and the 19th run of the innings. We're in over number 5. Inside the batting power play pins, they're currently scoring at 4.07. Not really fast scoring by any stretch of the imagination.
Just remember it's a final, so they have a bit of nerves as well. But after losing that early wicket of Ken Mears, this pair is doing the rightful thing and trying to do a bit of a repair job in the same time. Would like to score, but I think repairing this partnership at the stage is more important.
Thompson forward and pleasantly driving the delivery down to the onside to finally open his account after 7 deliveries. As the score goes up to 20 for 1. Interesting though, Payne. They've had some 18 dot deliveries already.
Yes, a couple of things have helped with that, Kurt. Obviously, losing that early wicket as well as the tight bowling of Anthony Morris and Ian Drakes, who continues to be very good in this power play segment.
Down the leg side and called wide by umpire Cullimore. A neat take though by the keeper. Good enough to skip around to his left. In Agard, 21 for 1. 1 legal delivery remains in the 5th over of the innings of the finals of the Amas over 50s tournament. It's a short one, and it will be a boundary as well to Agard, who continues to be the bright light here in the Limers batting lineup. Short delivery, angled poorly lined as well down the leg side, and Agard good enough to come inside his wicket, hit it behind square. A lot of vacant real estate in that area, and a boundary to Agard, his 2nd of the match. And at the end of 5 overs inside the batting power play, Andy Payne, the Limers, they're 25 for 1.
A poor delivery there by Ian Drakes on that occasion and given the rightful treatment by Drakes. You see, like you said, he's got the field set for the man on the offside, but you see him pull that one down, angling into the leg side, and Ian Drakes, he'll be very disappointed himself, but Michael Agard, he got into a really good position, Kurt, and was able to hit that one just in front of the square and into the boundary for another 4, but he's doing very good.
And as is the modus operandi of the veterans team, Morris will continue to close out the power play overs. It'll be interesting to see the 2 fielders they have on the boundary. I can tell you for sure one of them is on a square sweeper, and they've sent the man at long off down as well. The 2 fielders outside the circle. A delivery outside the off stump. Thompson is back and punching into the offside, where Leon Lane comes in rather quickly, and there's no run. Morris, 2.1 overs, no middles, none for 10 so far. Another good delivery, Payne. Really asking a lot of questions on the batsman's technique, honing in on those stumps, really not moving away from those stumps at all. And Morris continues to be his miserly self. Swept straight to that fielder at square leg. Alan Young takes a simple catch. And there was Derwin Thompson Payne trying to free the shackles, but only good enough to find that man at backward square. So wicket number 2 goes down. Thompson caught at backward square leg off the ball of Anthony Morris for 1. Another wicket inside the power play Payne. And this really spells danger for the Limers team. 25 for 2.
Yeah, big wicket in the contest here, Kurt. That man, Anthony Morris, like you said, continues to be very economical, very tight. He bowls the ball into the stumps, and Derwin Thompson thought he had something outside of the leg stump. Just going for the sweep, as we see it on the replay here, Kurt. But he couldn't beat that man in Anthony Young at the square leg region. And he took an easy catch and put in the Limers in further trouble, like you said. But with that, it's bringing the tournament leads and run score, Kurt. And Adrian Braffett to the middle. And a lot of work will be resting on his shoulders right
292
now.
runs, Spain averaging 58.40. And that's the kind of player you want coming in at this stage of the innings with your team in a spot of bother. A man in a rich vein of form. Anytime you're averaging over 50 in any cricket tournament, Payne, you've really in the form of your life. And Adrian Braffett, man for a crisis, coming to the crease with his team in a spot of bother within the power play, the batting power play, 25 for 2. Your thoughts on what approach Braffett should use?
Well, Braffett is the player that he can get the ball over the ropes. Like you said, you looked at his numbers, Kurt, and as well as his strike rate is also very high usually. So he's the one that once given the license pretty much to say, he will go after it. So I don't think his game will change anyway from how he's played throughout the tournament. He's just that type of player.
I can also tell you that the 2 fielders outside the circle haven't changed either. Still remaining with that man on that square cover boundary and a man at a wideish long off. The slip is back in attendance in Lafon as a delivery outside the yard stump punch into that man at backward point, Warren, who's done a lot of work so far in the first 6 overs of this contest. Remember, this is the finals of the Amas over 50s T20 competition here at the BNOC ground in Woodburn St. Philip. A delivery bringing the batsman forward. And yet again, Morris Payne honing in on those stumps.
He's just so good at that, Kurt. He just continues to give it, like he said, generous flight. But he also challenged you on the wicket. So you always think that you would give him a chance.
The innings of the Limers team hopefully looking to take off like that, playing over to the south of the ground. And at the end of the batting power play, Payne, I can tell you, some would argue that the veterans would have won this power play, picking up 2 early wickets. The Limers, they're 25 for 2.
Yes, and I think that they're in a very good position. Just remember, Kurt, that this veterans team would have defeated the Limers on 2 occasions in this year's competition. They've beaten them in the preliminaries as well as in the eliminator. So they will think that they've got the better of this team. And picking up those 2 early wickets, it seems a lot of trouble for the Limers. But again, in the middle here now are 2 batters who is very competent. You said Adrian Braffett wearing that orange cap, Kurt, the leading run scorer for the tournament. He's there. Michael Agar, like we said, he's in good form. He's been good enough to carry through the power play. So all he needs to do now is carry on, pretty much. And if this pair can get a partnership together, they will give the veterans team something of a total to chase.
As we've got the first bowling change of this encounter as well, as Orion Bostic will come into the attack. 15 overs in the tournament, conceded 97 runs, picked up just 3 wickets, but being introduced way early in the piece by his captain. From the northern end as well, an end which is usually known to be very leak some runs, Payne.
Yeah, this end is generally the free scoring the end, but like you said, Orion Bostic been entrusted to bowl in the hard areas here. Two of the more powerful players in this lineup, but he's good enough. He's been having a good season as well. He's not one who's very recognized with his bowling, but I can tell you he bowls good pace, good variations. He's got a lot of good deliveries in his arm.
A misfield by Morris will allow the Limers to pick up their 26th run as Agar picks up his 23rd run, and some adjustments being made in the field after conversation between the experienced Agard and Bostic mid-pitch. And we're asking the man at that forward square boundary to come around about 5 meters to his right. So he's going just on the boundary, just to the left of the umpire at square leg. And there's a man at long on, a man at home at long off, and a man on the sweeper. Fielders outside the circle. There's also a man at third man as Bostic brings Braffett forward. 2 players of similar ilk, really, Payne. Braffett used to bowl gentle medium pace, just like Bostic, bat in the middle, safe hands, So two players of similar ability as Braffett waits on ball stick. A delivery which is finding the outside edge down to that man at third man. In Lafon, a single to Agardy. He continues to be play the fighting hand, the lone hand here for this Limers team. He's up to 23 from 22 deliveries. So far, he's struck 2 fours and 1 6, striking at 104.5. 27 for 2. We're in over number 7. Short delivery tugged into the onside. They've gone for 1. And as Warren comes around to his left from that forward square position, the batsman have enough time to complete 1 more. 28. So Braffett, the tournament's leading run scorer, picks up his first run to open his account. And the score now up to 28 for 2. As there's a delivery. Braffett swinging across the line, down on bended knee, more than likely praying to the almighty pain because he's been bowled. Swinging across the line at ball stick, and the veterans team continue to apply the screws here, paying no bowler, all pressure being exposed here on this Limers team. 28 for 3 now paying, and the all-important wicket of the tournament's leading run scorer, Adrian Ballstick. As the replay comes up, let's have a look at it again. Swinging across the line, coming inside his stumps, coming a long way inside his stumps as well, leaving his stumps exposed, and Ballstick good enough to hone in on those stumps. Wicket number 3 goes down. 28 for 3 paying no really in a spot of bother, the Limers.
Yeah, a lot of trouble here, Kurt. Losing that wicket at a very bad time. Adrian Braffett, like we said, the tournament's leader run scorer, the orange cap. But Boston, like you said, a very underrated bowler, Kurt. He's good enough. He's got a lot of variation. You see him just targeting those stumps of Braffett, who's trying to hit him over the leg side and into that corner area, but missing the ball that was very straight, and he's got to go, losing his leg step, Kurt. So kudos to this man, Orion Boston, for the word entrusted in him, and he's executed well.
Yes, Ben, as you look at the veterans team and you look at the plans, the field settings and the lines and lengths that they've bowled at each individual player, and they don't set the same field for every batsman, Ben. You can see the thought process going into what they're doing, and each batsman, there seems to be a specific plan for each batsman, as the new batsman is Dave Clark.
Dave Clark, a very good player, like you said. But a lot is expected of him here, Kurt, if he's going to put his team in a good position. But this man, boss, like we said, underrated, but he just knows his job.
Delivery which is hurriedly bringing Clark onto the front foot. He's good enough to get it into the onside, but to close out over number 7. And the Limers team definitely in a spot of bother. The batsman gone Michael Agard, he's not out on 24. The batsman gone Ken Mears, he was run up by Winston Warren for 1. Derwin Thompson was caught by Alan Young off the bone of Anthony Morris for 1. And Adrian Braffett was just bowled by Orion Ballstick. 28 for 3 at the crease. Dave Clark and Michael Agard paying really with a repair job on their hands.
A lot of work to do in the middle here. Like you said, all 3 of those batsmen gone. Just making 1. So none of them are good enough to carry on and help Agard in the middle to form a good partnership. But Agard, he's still there. And like you said, he's batting sensibly. He's just putting the ball in the gap, taking anything that's given to him. And the other batsmen, unfortunately, weren't good enough to stay around and spend some time in the middle with him, Kurt. Like you said, you wanted to have wickets at the back end of this innings, but they're losing their way and losing their way very badly, the Limers.
And really not easing up the pressure either is the captain. He's gone back to Morris, 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 10. And he's going to bowl Morris straight out.
Yes, imagine that 10 as well, Kurt. Remember, he was struck for a massive 6 over that long off area by Agard a bit early in his spell. It's his first over, so his next 2 overs has been very economical, Kurt. And you see the consistency that he continues to bowl with, just bowling the ball down that middle stump and asking the batters to go after him.
I can tell you, Pete, accentuated now by his 16th dot ball in his spell. So out of the 20 balls he would have bowled, Payne, 16 of them have not been scored off.
Well, make that 17, Kurt. As I said, again, he's very much on target. This man, Anthony Morris, again, honing in on that middle stump, Kurt, asking the batters to get after him, and he's not letting up at all.
And yet again, no, another adjustment in the field as the man at short backward square is now being asked to go on the boundary. And they've brought the man in a few meters off the sweeper in Warren. And yet again being dot ball number 18 to Morris. Really spinning the web here for his captain, Brian Johnson. You know, the two of them would have went to school together, played a lot of cricket together, Payne. Inseparable, this pair.
He's happy to give up that easy single, as you saw him ask the guys to just go back on the circle there, Kurt. And Michael Agard good enough to work it into that offside and pick up yet another single. But Morris, like you said, he's just so good himself and Johnson. They know each other well and they always play very well together, Kurt. And they've got a lot of other experienced players around them. The keeper in Agard, like you said, Boston, who's very experienced as well. He knows his work. O'Gee's the tournament's leading run score. The wicket taker, that is, sorry. He's also in there. He's yet to bowl, Kurt, and 3 wickets down. It's to be a lot of pressure on this team.
So at the end of Morris's spell, Payne, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 11. That's a top spell by any stretch of the imagination. And in that spell, Payne, out of the 24 deliveries he would have bowled, 19 of them would have not been scored off of. That is really some top stuff, especially in a final.
Yes. Nice, like you said, he's just so good at it, Kurt. Remember, he conceded a 6 in that spell as well. So you could just imagine how tight he was. I mean, these are figures that are not new to someone like Anthony Morris. He's done this job for a long time. He's done it for the BT team, the Lime team. He's here doing it as well. And he's just continued to be as economical as we know him.
Also, interestingly, Payne, this is also useful in telling you how tight the bowlers have been so far this innings. After 8 overs, there's only been 1 extra. Delivery which is being driven down too long off. Man with a lot of work coming around to his left. He comes around and does well. Ian Drakes with a strong, powerful throw up to the bowler's end where it's collected by Boston. The batsman complete one more. 30 for 3. Agard continues to play the low on hand here for the Limers team. 26 from 29 deliveries. 32 minutes of batting. Struck 2 4s and 1 6.
Yeah, he's doing all the scoring. Like he said, he just needs someone to stick around with him and spend some time in the middle, Kurt. So he's asking of a partner so he can have a partnership.
Boston bringing Clark forward. And there is no run. Clark yet to open his account. He's faced 3 deliveries. They would have lost wicket Spain with his score on 2, 22 and 24. I think they're paying that was a good bit of batting by Dave Clark. Coming onto the front foot, good enough to utilize those soft hands. Also good enough to open the back face to get that one to the right of the man at backward point. Payne and picking up his first run, 31 for 3.
Like I said, good batsmanship there being showed. He's one who's done well enough. He was also good enough to have gone to trials, Kurt, Dave Clark. But again, just showing that usefulness in his batting prowess. Open up the face of the bat and playing it to the in front of that man, Brian Johnson, who's still one of the stronger fielders in this tournament, Kurt. I can tell you, he's done a lot of work for his team. He's got quite a few catches. He's been very quick across the outfield, and he continues to be a very, very good part of this team, the captain.
Into the offside yet again is Agard punching the delivery, and Morris gets in the way, and there is no run. We're in over number 9. Remember, the Limers won the toss in this all-important final, and they decided they wanted to take first knock. Agard high into the air. Fielders coming around the keeper, and Bates is coming around land in no man's land, and Agard will pick up a fortuitous run, Payne, but really and truly not really a chance going to begging, just high into the air, and Agard with visions of coming around. Bates also with visions of coming around and taking the catchy ball, landed safely in front of the two of them, and Agard picks up his 27th run as the replay comes up again. And can clearly see Payne, no fielders there really getting anywhere close to that one. Agard 27, 32 for 3, we're in over number 9. Almost 1 legal delivery remains in over number 9. Off the outside portion of the bat, going down to third man. They will come back for the second quite easily as Brian Johnson, the captain, then sends his return down to the non-strikers end, Payne, and that is strategic as well because Agard is the man coming back to that end, and there's Johnson putting some pressure on Agard to complete what should have been a comfortable 2. So at the end of 9 overs, the Limers, they won the toss, and it's all important. A mass over 50s final. Remember, this is the 5th year of this tournament, Payne, and both teams have won this competition 2 times. So one of them will go ahead at the end of today's proceedings, one of them will get on top of the other. 34 for 3 at the end of 9. Agard is 27 away from Dave Clark on 3.
Yeah, Agard continues to be holding it together there. He's the man just doing that work, doing the bulk of the scoring for his Limers team. He's been there from the beginning. His 3 wickets has fell between them, and he's still very much there, but he's doing the job. He needs someone to stay with him, Kurt, and Dave Clark. He's good enough to do that. You just see him open up the face on the previous delivery and just working that one behind point for 2. So he needs to continue to do that. Just find the spaces, picked up the 1s and 2s, continues to try to get Michael Agard on strike, and just hope that this pair can have a good partnership and give the Limers a score that they could really defend in the second innings.
Alan Young will pick up the attack from the Sovereign and I hope he'll be looking to continue the good work that was on offer by Anthony Morris. Comes into the attack to start over number 10 and leave outside the yard stump, and I can assure you that is not the good work that the captain would have wanted, paying a wide wayward delivery outside the yard stump. 35 for 3. Extra number 2 comes up made up of all 2 being wides. Andy Payne.
Yes, Alan Young just coming into the attack. He would want to continue that good work, like you said, but iron a little bit on the wide on that time, and he's come back on his mark right now, Kurt.
And the delivery which is driven down too long on. Agard picks up his 28th run and he score up to 36 for 3 as the crowd continues to grow here at the BNOC ground. Clark is driving loosely at the delivery outside the yard stump. There was Alan Young finding the delivery, pitching on about the yard stump, holding its own pain and straightening, and 2 to the keeper. Clark a bit heavy-footed there.
I think that would be Alan's modus operandi, like you said, Kurt, just coming down that off stump and going further away from him. So Bunker Clark needs to be very mindful as to what he's been receiving.
And basically a replay of the previous delivery, another delivery outside the yard stump, full and wide, and there was Clark throwing his hands at it, not really getting his feet anywhere close to the line of delivery, and there is no run.
Yeah, you can tell from the field that they have set, Kurt, that this is what they're asking Alan Young to do, just bowl it as wide as possible on that offside. I see the reinforcement coming in now as well, Kurt, and you see that is what they want Alan to continue to do.
Yeah, they've taken the mid-wicket out and asked him to come to a straightish extra cover position and base a short delivery down the leg side, wide called by the umpire. So a typical West Indian bowler pain. As soon as you strengthen the offside, they will bowl the ball down the leg side.
So typical indeed. But Alan Young, he just needs to continue that good work that the previous bowlers have set up for him. So he's coming to a really a comfortable position, Kurt. So he just needs to continue to bowl what the captain is asking.
Another delivery outside the yard stump. There's Bunker Clark driving again outside the yard stump, but yet again not making contact. 37 for 3.
Yes, I think he's seen enough now to know what the plan is. So I think he was trying to get a bit closer on the off stump if he's going to get any bat on these.
As a drizzle seems to be coming from the east of the ground. As I look over there, though, not really threatening. It looks like just briefly a pass over. 37 for 3. 9.5 overs have been completed. We're in over number 10, almost at the halfway stage. A delivery outside the yard stump, and this time called wide by the umpire. Really wide this time, Andy Payne. So really losing his radar in this over so far, Alan Young.
Well, yes, like you said, he's coming on that second change bowler. Kurt, the bowlers before him have done some really good work. And he's just thinking that he's got to continue that. But you see him trying a bit too hard. But the field is set for him. He just needs to bowl that ball and not off stump. Don't see why you have to be that wide.
And this time a beauty outside the yard stump to close out over number 10. And at the halfway stage, the Limers, after 10 overs, winning the toss and decided to bat 38 for 3.
Any investment in education is a positive step in the development of our society. Call the Calvary Institute. We offer a wide range of vocational and technology courses. We offer personalized support to students at primary and secondary level. Call us at 426-2337 or
Wickets in the tournament coming into the attack. As he will be operating with a man at short third man, a man at backward point, a man on his sweeper, a man at a weightish extra cover, long on, a long off, a man at forward square, and a man at short fine leg. Coming into the attack with 15 wickets, being the leading wicket taker, and coming in belatedly as the fifth bowler being introduced.
Well, he's really been introduced with a platform, Kurt, after having some 15 wickets in the tournament. He's come in and his team is in a very good position. 3 wickets already down. I mean, he should be feeling a lot comfortable coming into this attack at this stage of the innings.
Yeah, Garrett punching the delivery powerfully through the offside, but there's that man, Morris, really deep at that extra cover region, being really willing to give up that single, but it was so powerfully struck, it got him rather quickly and no chance of a run. Powerfully down the ground, down to long on this time to pick up his 29th run and the 39th run of the innings. 39 for 3. The current run rate 3.77. A partnership of 11 runs so far between this pair. Really looking to do a repair job, but at some stage, Payne, they will need to step on the accelerator if they are to get up to a defendable score here. I think that the Limers team, though, feel they're much more comfortable defending as well. Saw them defend a target of 142 in that eliminator game, Payne, and if they can get up to somewhere in that region, they will still think that they're in with a chance here.
Yeah, agreed with that, Kurt. So hence they won the toss and they let it to bat straight away. As you see, Clark just going a big hit through that mid-wicket area, Kurt, and into the fence for 4. So he's free the shackles for him. So a good boundary by him.
Well, yes, Dave Clark, 7 now from 11 deliveries, 17 minutes of batting, 1-4. That's the one he would have just struck. 4 then 3 for 3, but he's really going to need to do that a lot more often and still pick those singles up as well, Payne. But good aggressive intent shown by Dave Clark, clearly understanding his role here. 43 for 3.
Yeah, good shot there by played by Clark as he's forcing the veterans now to put another man on that leg side boundary, Kirk. But a good shot by, like you said, Clark. He just continues to bat well here, pick up the singles, like you said, and capitalize on any bad delivery.
Good enough to steer this one to the right of the man at short third man to pick up his 8th run and 44 for 3. I want to ask you a question though, Andy Payne. There you've got the team 43 for 3. The batsman hitting across the line, hitting that ball into the vacant area, and automatically you strengthen that field. What do you want to be inclined to encourage him to play that shot in hopes of picking up another wicket?
I think that's an attacking position as well. I mean, you can say ask him to not play that shot and try to bowl a few more deliveries and then try to get a pressure on him, and then he goes for it. So I don't think it's a bad move. What you can also do is you can reinforce one of those men on the offside if you think that's where he's going to play and put another man in the leg.
Delivery outside the off stump, and Agard having a lofty hit, trying to hit this one somewhere in the region of one of the oil fields to the south of the ground, Payne, to the north of the ground. 44 for 3. This time powerfully striking this one, but yet again Morris at the edge of the circle and just sitting on the edge of the circle, and he's striking the delivery so powerfully, he's getting to Morris so quickly that there's no possibility of a run. So at the end of over number 11, the Limers team in this all-important Amas over 50s final, they won the toss, decided to take first knock. They're 44 for 3.
44 for 3, found himself in a lot of trouble. Some 11 overs already bowled, Kurt. But again, this pair in the middle now, Clark and Agard, they will probably need to bat for another 3-4 overs and give the men at the bat something to work with. But again, you saw that man in O'Geese coming into the attack, just airing that one time on the leg side, and Clark was good enough to dispatch that one into the boundary for 4, but then he came back and he was on a good line of length and they weren't able to score. But he, again, Michael Eagle, like you said, Kurt, he's striking the ball very well. I told you in that semi-final game he was timing it very nicely. He just needs to find the gaps here now if he's going to continue in the middle and get himself a proper score.
Interestingly, Payne out of 66 legal deliveries bowled, delivery outside the off stump. Wide will be called this time by umpire Alex Bellamy. There have been some 42 dot balls.
Well, Bellamy, umpire, he's been very consistent in this tournament, Kurt. You must give it to him. Happy to see him in the final. He's done a very good job in all the previous games and been entrusted to do this final, and he continues to do good work.
Clark punching away down to the man at backward point on the sweeper. They've gone for 1. That's all there will be. As good work again by that man, looks like Winston Warren coming around to his left from that square cover that they've employed on the boundary for the almost the duration of the innings, Payne, and he's really done some good work, strategically placed 46 for 3.
Yeah, they really understand the conditions here at this Woodburn ground. The veterans, a lot of them play here during the domestic season, Kurt. And like you said, they're very, very well in tune with where majority of the runs are scored on this ground.
Outside the yard stump yet again. Beaten Agard and goes through to be taken by his namesake, wicketkeeper Pedro Agard, who has also been a club mate of yours for many years at the Maple side.
One of the better thinking players in local cricket. He's reads the game very well, Pedro Agard, and he's continuing to show his worth here with this veterans team. You've got the support of his captain and Johnson, and this pair together, Kurt, I can tell you they understand what's acts of the batsmen. They know where to put the feeders, as you see that same man on that extra cover area just running around and picking up one just to restrict them to a single.
Well, I thought really, Payne, that it was some poor running there with Agard, probably thinking that one would have gone to the boundary. We might have had a lot of work to do coming to his right this time, and I really thought that there was a chance of a second run. Outside the yard stump, Clark cutting away, delivery picked up by that man at backward point in Leon Lane, but Agard this time quickly through as he scored up to 48 for 3. Win over number 12, so a bit of a recovery. This partnership now worth some 20 runs between Michael Agard and Dave Clark, really trying to dig themselves and the team out of a hole, paying 48 for 3.
Yeah, they need a partnership. They need to go a bit deeper. They need to bat into the 15th, 16th, Kurt, if they're going to ask the team to score anything of a formidable total here. But this pair, they've done so well so far.
A delivery outside the yard stump into the wicket again and getting some generous bounce outside the yard stump, and yet again goes to be taken by the keeper. 48 for 3. Agard is on 30 from 39 deliveries. 49 minutes of batting, struck 2 4s and 1 6. Current strike rate of 76.92. Young outside the yard stump, a lot of room on offer, but that man who's done a lot of work on that point region, sweeper region, Payne, another single to close out over number 12, and at the end of it, the Limers 49 for 3, Payne the current run rate 4.08.
Yeah, a little bit behind the 8 ball, but again, losing early wickets. You said they've lost wickets at 2, 22, 24. So those losing wickets at those regular intervals, they always put you under pressure. But this man, Michael Aguirre, what he's needed now, Kurt, he needs to carry his bat through the innings if you're going to get anything of a good score. Clark seems to be the one who's offering that support and seems to be finding the gaps a bit easier than the previous players, Dave Clark. So this period, like I said, needs to take it down a bit deeper, Kurt.
Well, yes. As Ogies will continue, and he's hitting this one straight down the ground. Chance for a catch. Ian Drake takes the catch on the long off boundary. He's also lost his shoe in the process, but that was a brilliant catch by Ian Drake. Coming around, losing the sole of his shoe. But what I can tell you, didn't lose control of that ball. Payne, and an important wicket, another wicket goes down. That of Michael Agard. He was really holding this innings together, 31 from 41 balls. As the replay comes up, a delivery outside the line of the off stump, and there was Agard with intentions of freeing his arms and looking for a boundary, struck down to long off. Ian Drakes came around, had enough time to settle, get low, take a neat catch, and then you can see there losing his sole, and I mean his shoe sole. but keeping control of that one. Wicket number 4 goes down now with the score on 49.
Well, further trouble that for the Limers team, but that man, Michael Ager, who's playing a good hand for his team, he's got to go. He's on his way back into the pavilion, Kurt. Like I said, just previously, they needed him to bat and bat a bit deeper, because he was the man doing the bulk of the scoring. But you just saw him there just trying to hit the bowlery over the onside there, Kurt. He tried to hit a flat shot, really. Didn't get enough elevation, and Ian Drake was good enough to hold on to a very good catch.
As the new batsman is Curtis Innes, and we can guarantee he's going to play one way. But just before that wicket fell apart, I wanted to mention to you how important it would have been for Agar to go deep, because he would have already used up some 41 balls, of which 22 of them would have been dots. So it would have been really important for him to get deeper into the innings now to make up at the back end for those dot balls that he would have utilized at the top of the order. Forward pleasantly into the offside, Curtis Innes. And the 50 coming up, ladies and gentlemen, off 79 deliveries, 52 minutes of batting, 3 4s and 1 6. But it's really been a struggle here as we're in over number 13.
Yeah, very much a struggle. Innes, he said he's one who can really get it over the line, but it would be a lot of the ask of him right now. But this man, Dave Clark, he's been timing the ball well. He got a boundary in his previous over. He's been finding the gaps, Kurt, and he needs to continue that vein and try to put some pressure on the fielding team.
A lot of vehicle as real estate the onside. No one at home at the stumps at the non-strikers MPN, but the batsmen have already decided they will settle on one. Interesting to look at this leg side field. The closest fielder on the leg side pin is that man Ron Bates at that short fine leg. Other than that, all of the fielders deep set. A man at forward square, a man down in the cow corner, and a man at long on. So a lot of vacant real estate in the onside. And looking to introduce that fall short, trying to get the batsman to play across the line, trying to get that ball into the vacant area.
Yeah, so Clark, he'd be very mindful of that as well. Like I said, with the pace that Wagis is bowling at, maybe you can really get the ball into that leg side area. You just need to try to get across on the offside a little bit early. He's not sure that the pace that he will really for pace here, Wagis.
Delivery punch through the offside, well played by Innes. Uncharacteristically playing his batting with one glove.
Well, that is one of his trademarks, Kurt. If you've played a lot with Curtis Innes, you would know that that right hand of his is always very vacant with his glove.
52 for 4. Innes on 2, Clark on 11. Whipped into the onside, gone for 1. Will they come back for the second one? I think Innes is fast enough between the wickets. He will get home just about now. So good running by this pair. Good urgency being shown here by these two. And I think too, paying that these are two of the more youthful over 50s in this side. So you will see some urgency being introduced into the running. And
I said again, Clark, he's good enough, Kurt. You've seen him just working his way across that off stump and playing it. And he had a good weight on it that he was good enough to get to. And you can see him just working his way on the off stump and hitting that ball into the leg side area.
And I can tell you it's a boundary by Dave Clark getting inside his stumps and whipping this delivery behind square. Poorly lined delivery as well, delivered by O'Geese as Ian Drake will make his way back onto the field after having changed his footwear. So a boundary to close out over number 13. And at the end of it, Dave Clark quickly up to 17. And the Limers team, remember their captain Keith Seal won the toss, decided they wanted to take first knock. They're 58 for 4. The batsman gone, Michael Agard for 31. Ken Mears 1. Derwin Thompson 1. Adrian Braffett 1. Andy Payne. So a lot of ones. Probably doing some binary.
Well, there's some binary numbers there. But this man, Dave Clark, Kurt, you see the intent that he's had. Again, with that field set that they've placed for him, he's done well enough to get across the awesome and try to access that leg side field. Like I said, O'Gee's not one of extreme pace, so he's good enough to get across that awesome and hit those balls into the leg side. And even on the final delivery, he was good enough to find the boundary as well.
58 for 4. They will continue with Alan Young, 2 overs, no maidens, none for 9. Even although he's delivered some wide stuff Payne, he's really continued the economical bowling. From that, the sovereign end of the ground. Remember, Morris at the top of the innings with a bowl 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 11. From that end, Young, who's been around for a long time, played most of his cricket for the Malvern Club, a team out of St. George, who would have been really good in their heyday back in the 70s and early 80s. A delivery outside the all stump. Remember guys like Charles Reed as a wide signal by umpire Bellamy. Takes his score up to 59. Charles Reed, Lodger Padmore. Yep. The left arm spinner in Holligan. Wicket keeper Paris up to the stumps. Back in those here, the Malvern team delivery driven through the offside sweetly by Curtis. It is a lovely shot, and this should run fairly close to the boundary. A boundary to Curtis. It is given some room outside the off-stump pin and driving it pleasantly through the offside.
I can tell one thing about Alan Young there, Kurt. He's erring on his length. They're asking him to bowl that line, but his length was a bit full. And Ennis, he's got some longer levers, Kurt, than some of the previous batsmen. And he got through that shot with tremendous ease, and he was able to find the gap and hitting it up to the boundary for yet another 4.
So, Payne, I've got a question for you. Curtis Ennis coming in as low as number 6, usually at the top of the order. Do you think that would have chance missed by the captain of the Limers team, Dukes, more capable of getting the scoring going well inside that power play?
I think it was strategic and it was very well. I must give it to the captain of the Limers team because Ennis, he's a lot more stronger of a player to this, the Seamers, Kurt. So I think they're more mindful of that the veterans would have started with a lot of slow bowling, so they held Ennis down the batting order.
So strategically held back, driven outside the off stump off the outer portion of the bat, down to that man coming off the sweeper boundary. Doesn't feel clearly, and yet again, Payne, some good urgency being shown. The alertness and the awareness of Dave Clark touching down and realizing that the fielder didn't pick up cleanly in Winston Warren and allows the batsman to come back for that second run. So good running, good awareness, good alertness by this pair. 65 for 2. Partnership now 16 runs and developing.
Good work again by this pair. We said just in the middle there, this pair just putting the pressure on the field, and that's what's needed, Kurt. Again, you can see him just using the pace of that one and hitting it over the infield, and they're searching for another 2 here. It might get pretty close to the boundary, but a good run in between the pair.
I can assure you that the man at long off wouldn't get a contract at none of the leading clubs in England. He came around, did some footwork, and instead of throwing it to his teammate, he threw it away. But the batsman have enough time to complete 2. So 67 for 4, just mentioned the partnership again. Payne, that 2 should take it up to a partnership of 18. Current run rate 4.96. And Dukes looks a bit winded. Curtis Ennis looks a bit winded in the middle.
Well, he's been doing quite a bit of running, and Clark, he's been putting the pressure on the fielders. So in the absence of boundaries, you got to run quite a few 2s. So with that, obviously, yes, you become a bit winded.
Delivery outside the off stump wide, called by umpire Bellamy, and rightly so to Payne. That one yet again Ennis losing his radar.
Yeah, they're putting the pressure a little bit on this man Young right now, and rightfully so, Kurt. Medium pacer, like we said, Ennis, he's more in tune with the medium pace or the fastest stuff, and he's really putting the pressure on this man Young.
And that's a magnificent catch taken by the keeper. There was the bowler pulling his length back and getting this one to seam away, Payne. A bit of bounce as well, and following it with his hands, Payne, was the batsman Curtis Ennis. The edge found, and there was wicketkeeper Agard diving away to his right and coming up sure-handedly with that catch. 68 for 5 as we look at this replay, Payne. As the showers also come across the ground, delivery outside the off stump, getting a bit of bounce. The edge found, a bit of a juggle by wicketkeeper Agard, but in the end, punks in it, and wicket number 5 goes down now. So that partnership that promised a lot as the covers are being called on by the umpires, Payne. We'll have a look at it again on the replay.
What was good about it, Kurt, is like you said earlier in the over, he said that he was erring on the fuller length, and the captain was wanting to bowl a bit back of the length with on the line that he was bowling, Kurt. He was good enough on that occasion. Ennis was good enough to find the edge, but as well, Pedro Aguirre, more importantly, come out with a tremendous catch, to dive into his right and holding it into the right hand. A little bit of a juggle, but there's no danger in the end. So Ennis, he's got to go back to the pavilion, and another wicket for the veterans.
So as we take a rain-interrupted break, Andy Payne, 68 for 5. We can quickly tell you the batsman dismissed. Michael Agard caught Ian Drakes off the bowling of Raymond O'Geese for 31. Ken Mears was run by Winston Warren for 1. Derwin Thompson was caught Alan Young off the bowling of Anthony Morris for 1. Adrian Braffett was bowled Orion Bostic for 1. Dave Clark is not out on 17. Curtis Dukes Ennis, as the rain continues to get heavier here, is brilliantly caught by Pedro Agard off the bowling of Alan Young for 10, and Dave Eswick, who would have just made his way to the crease before the covers were called on the Limers team when they tossed electing the bat 68 for 5.
Well, Kurt, what we can tell you is that during this break, we were going to take this opportunity to have a word from the captains before the game, and we are going to first start with the captain of the Limers, Keith Seal, as we go over to our producer, Kurt.
Welcome, Seal. Preparing for, well, some may want to call it history repeating itself. Certainly, in terms of the matchup, we can go with that, but you wouldn't want the outcome to be the same as last year, would you, when the Limers come up against the veterans?
No, not at all. I would prefer any of the two previous years.
Okay, so they pretty much like what the Eagles did to the Chiefs. I'm getting the impression that the veterans, they got in the way of your hat trick.
Yes, they did. They may argue that I got in the way of theirs for 2 years, but at the end of the day, yes, we were actually double defending champions, and they took us out last year.
Okay, fair enough. I understand that in this Amass over 50 T20 competition, you're the only teams that have ever won. And they've, 5 years now?
Yeah, this is going into the 5th year, and we are the only team that have ever won. I think, if my memory serves me correctly, veterans won it the first year, we won the next 2, and then veterans won last year again.
Okay. All right. So what plans do you have to recapture the trophy that you probably think is rightfully yours?
Well, I'll stay very generic, just in case any of the veterans are looking at this broadcast before the game. But at the end of the day, I think teamwork is important. Veterans is a very strong team, very experienced team, and I think we need to pull together as a team. We have to execute. As you know, Philip, you can have all the plans in place, but at the end of the day, execution is key. So once we come tomorrow, we stick to our game plan and we execute. I think we stand a good chance of regaining the title.
Okay. You must be doing something correct that you have been this dominant over the period of the competition, because I know for sure from seeing it myself that there are a number of players in the competition who have made names for themselves in cricket over the years, and many of them are still playing at a pretty decent and competitive level.
Yeah. I would like to think that at the end of the day, let's start at first principles, and the draft is very important. I think once you have a game plan and you know how you want to go about it, I think having the correct players to suit that style of cricket is very important. And with the Amass tournament, we have an opportunity to draft players at the beginning of every, or let's say at the end of every tournament. Looking forward to the next tournament, and that's really where it starts. Getting the right players that suit the style of cricket you want to play, and then making sure that you're able to utilize them. And that's where it starts for us. But then obviously playing on the field, playing on the day is very important. And we have a number of guys who are very committed. They hate to lose. And at the end of the day, once we get going and everyone is on board, I think we are a pretty difficult team to get over.
But what keeps you going, you and the other guys? I mean, this is a tournament for over 50s. Some people, they hit 25 and they begin to move away from the playing field and the courts and that sort of thing. What keeps you guys going and so competitive as well? You're not just playing. I know you enjoy it, but you're not only playing for the fun. I can see that. Don't try to fool me. This is serious competitive stuff. You guys, I've seen confrontations, all sorts of things I've seen. What really keeps you guys that competitive?
Yeah, I think it's generational. I think at the end of the day, we have been playing against each other for the last 30, 40 years, and nothing has changed. We don't want the others to get the better of you. And
you just do it a little bit slower, I suppose.
We do it a lot slower.
Yeah.
And a lot more tentatively. So at the end of the day, whereas let's say now, I would probably be now coming in from a final practice session. There's no way I'm practicing the day before the game.
Yeah. There'll be no game if you practice the day before the game, at least not for you.
You need me on Saturday or you need me on Friday, not both.
I see. Fair enough. Okay, but really and truly though, if you look even beyond this competition, how important really do you think is sport at a mature stage of life?
Well, it's key. I think at the end of the day, we need to, it's healthy. We need to stay healthy. And this is not only from a physical perspective, mental perspective. You should see the guys when we get into a huddle and the thought process is going. And I think activity, brain activity, physical activity, that is key at this stage. And once we find something that we love and it can keep us going, I think that it is ideal for anyone at our age. In fact, I would encourage persons who have not yet started playing in the AMAS cricket, T20 cricket, to look into joining from next year. And I know that Anthony and his team at AMAS, they do have a number of persons every year who recognize it's competitive. It may be a little slower, as you said, but it's very competitive, high quality, and I think it's something that we look forward to every year.
Congratulations, Brian. You are in the final again. No stranger to the final, no stranger to success in the AMAS over 50 T20 competition.
Yeah, thanks very much, Philip. Yes, this is the fifth year of the competition and the fifth time that we're in the finals.
And you've already won what, 3 times? I think you're
twice.
Twice. You run twice. So you're looking for your third title now.
Looking to make it 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. I see. Okay.
2 times we lost were to the Limers who were playing. We are playing again. This will be the fourth time that we have met in the finals.
Okay. All right. So the Limers and the veterans know how to win. How has it been though for the competition for you? Let's say this season. How has it gone for your team this season? Obviously you've done well, but I mean, you may have overcome some hurdles. It may have been plain sailing. What was it like?
No, I think the most probably difficult match was the first game. Right, I missed that match because it wasn't well, but I believe since it was the first for the season, the guys might have been probably a bit of nerves, and so we had a low score that game. Since then, we have moved from strength to strength, and we've won most of those other games pretty comfortably.
You said something about nervousness, but I mean, I almost can't recall when Brian Johnson was not playing cricket. You've been around for what? You're saying that you veterans, you guys are so experienced. You still get nerves when you go there?
I believe all batsmen do, even if they say they don't. I guess they have that pent up energy to do well. So you're hoping that you don't get that ball that have your number early and such, and then after that, once you get in, then you get comfortable. But I mean, saying that I believe most batsmen do have some sort of nerves, in every innings that they start.
I did mention that you've been around for quite some time, and I often wonder what keeps you going. I mean, some guys certainly in this part of the world, those of us beyond the boundary tend to write off cricketers from the time you start 25, 26, 27. But you guys are, still going. The Energizer Bunny. What keeps you guys going?
Well, for me personally, it is the love of the game. And also in part, like I always love to do well. So I try to keep a certain standard up. And to do so, you have to be fairly fit as well. So it helps me with my fitness because I obviously have to put in that work each year to be able to perform up to a certain standard. I always say that when I reach that point where I know I'm struggling in terms of eyesight and such, then I know it's time to finish with the game because it is getting harder and harder each year to keep up with that certain standard that you have set yourself.
No,
and also the camaraderie to be there with the guys, every weekend, and so it is something that as a cricketer you would miss if you're not around it. So.
Okay. Now you're playing in the over 50s. That's what we're talking about. But I believe up until recently, you've still been competing in the BCA competition. Is that correct?
Yes, currently I'm playing for the Barbados National Oil Company. I do represent them at the intermediate level. A couple of years I was playing the 2020 second division, but then when we go to the longer formats, which will be the 40 over and the 3-day, I normally play the intermediate.
Any investment in education is a positive step in the development of our society. Call the Calvary Institute. We offer a wide range of vocational and technology courses. We offer personalized support to students at primary and secondary level. Call us at 426-2337 or WhatsApp 851-2109.
So, as we get ready to resume after a brief rain interruption, the players from the veterans team are already making their way out into the middle. I can assure you that the umpires, Alex Bellamy and Mr. Earl Collymore, have already made their way out into the middle, and they're already placing the bills back on, and that's usually a good sign, Andy Payne.
I can tell you what, Kurt, the sun is out in all its glory again after that sharp shower. The ground staff has aided with the assistance of the fielding team, the veterans. They've done very well, Kurt, to get us right back out there in the middle. Don't think we've lost any overs, so this game will carry on as a 20-over affair. But the batters are now making their way in the middle as well, Kurt. And again, umpires Collymore and Bellamy doing a fantastic job to get the players back out there with some urgency.
So, Payne, 68, from position of 68 for 5, they would have really lost the cream if they had batted Michael Eger at the top of the order for 31. Ken Mears for 1. He's really struggled this tournament. Derwin Thompson entrusted to bat at number 3. He went for 1 as well. Adrian Braffett, the tournament's leader in run score. He really didn't get going at all today for 1. Dave Clark. Curtis Ennis, who was just dismissed, Payne. They would have lost wickets with the score on 2, 22, 24, 49, and 68. Your thoughts on the innings so far of the Limers team? Really haven't got going.
They haven't gotten going. I mean, as seen there, the loss of 5 wickets, 68 runs on the boards. We're pretty much well into the back end of it here now. So a lot of work will depend on the men in the middle now. It looks like Eswick now joining Clark. But the top order, they would have wanted the score from them. Michael Eggard, he had to start. They would have wanted him to carry on, Kurt. He was the only man in, really. And he got out at such a crucial time of the innings. And it's really put the Limers far away on the back foot, Kurt.
Dave Estwick, a player not afraid to play his shots. And really, from this position, still with some 6.2 overs really to go, Payne, they will really need to get up to a total of 120, 130 from this position here if they're really going to post a challenging total, any sort of challenging total.
I'll tell you what, you'll just be interested to see if the ball continues to move. If the ball...
So?
Lost both mics.
Delivery down the leg side, and there is no run. In fact, White, called by umpire Alex Bellamy. 68 for 5. Delivery played into the offside, to the left of that man at backward point. They've gone for 1. They're coming back for the second run. They will have to hurry, but it's a really weak return and sent to the middle of the wicket as well. So at the end of over number 14, I can tell you the Limers team winning the toss. Their captain Keith won the toss. He's yet to make an appearance with the bat as well, Payne, in the final 71 for 5 after 14. The current run rate 5.13. The batsmen gone. Michael Eggard 31. Ken Mears 1. Derwin Thompson 1. Adrian Braffett 1. And Curtis Ennis 10.
Yes, Kerry was saying it'll be interesting to see if the ball continues to move around for the Seamers here after the ball goes through the grass, which become a bit wet. But they saw Young continue the balls back in the length and have a good length, and he was able to just contain them from switching them for any boundaries. But again, like we said, with the advent of the water falling into the outfield, it'd be interesting to see how the ball holds up here, Kurt.
Well, yes, and the tournament's leading wicket taker will continue, and I can assure you that he would have added to his tally as well. He's already picked up 1 wicket, so he's gone to 16. Now really and truly at the top of the wicket-taking chart, Raymond Ogies. 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 15. About to start over number 15 from the northern end of the ground. Dave Clark is tugging another delivery into the onside. There's a fielder at home. He's coming around in Leon Lane. And then the batsmen have enough time to complete two. So some good running between Clark and Estwick to pick up the 73rd run of the innings. 73 for 5. 8 extras already in the innings made up of all wides. 8 wides. So the screws really have been tightened by the bowlers from the veteran side. As you see the cloth in operation, and that usually is an indication that the ball is picking up a bit of moisture. Tucked into the onside. This should be running fairly close to the boundary. In fact, a good bit of work there by the man Winston Warren coming around to his left. Payne shoving that left hand out and getting a hand to it and stopping it from going into the boundary. Another double to Dave Clark. He's quickly up to 21 from 19 deliveries. He struck 2 fours and really no Payne, the last of the top order batsmen in this side, and really will have to bat to the end.
Well, he's putting a bit of pressure on O'Geese, and he's batting in a good way, Kurt. Like I said, he's getting across that off stump and hitting those balls into the leg side. Like I said a bit earlier, they could have done with a other feeder on the leg side if this is a line and the lane viewer is going to bowl. You've seen the reinforcements going in there now, Kurt. But Dave Clark, like you said, just putting the pressure on O'Geese and hitting the balls into that leg side. A very good stop there by Warren on that occasion. It will look like a third and 4, Kurt. Good enough to restrict them just to 2.
75 for 5 as gets a delivery down the leg side. And Clark, not taken cleanly by the keeper, but Bates at that short fine leg does it tidying up. Sends his return up to the keeper, and umpire Earl Cullimore with arms outstretched pace indicate wide. 77 for 5. Estwick comes back in the strike. 2 from 2 deliveries. One of those underrated cricketers is Estwick. Drives powerfully back past the bowler. Opportunity, some would say, for a quarter ball chance. More in self-preservation. I think that dive was Payne.
Yeah, that was struck powerfully and back past the bowler. Like you said, he did well to get a hand to it, but I don't think it would be considered of a drop catch. But like you said, more in self-preservation than going for a catch. But
78 for 5. From this position, Payne, what do you think now the Limers team will be thinking of as a target to get up to? And 78 for 5 as Clark is having a big heave-ho outside the yard stump for a moment there. I thought the keeper was in with a shout, but all is well that ends well. 78 for 5, 14.4 overs have been completed. Clark 21 from 20 deliveries, 38 minutes of batting. He struck 2 fours. We'll be looking to hit a couple more for his side. Tails away, showing all of his versatility there, Payne. Moving away from his stumps, giving the bowlers his stumps, and good enough to get some bat on the way and steering it into the point region to pick up a single.
Yeah, Kurt, you asked what would be a good total. I'm telling you for sure, they need to get anything past that 120 total. 6 runs over. They would want to think that that's a fighting total. But this pair here, and Clark in particular, he'll need to back through to the end, Kurt.
Well, yes, lots resting on Dave Clark. He's a St. Philip man, so some would argue he's playing at home. O'Geese from town. Bowls the which is bringing the batsman forward. Estwick, bat and pad close together and presenting the full face of the bat to pick up a single into the offside to close out over number 15. And at the end of over number 15, as we head into the final 5, they call it the death over Spain. The Limers 11. Remember their captain Keith Seal won the toss earlier this afternoon. They are 80 for 5.
80 for 5, and this man Clark, like you said, he's got the bat to the end, Kurt. Anything over 120 will be a total they think they've got a chance with, like we said. But this pair in particularly, no, Clark, he will need to bat down. If you look at the bowlings, Kurt, to come, you can have a look clear and tell me what are the remaining overs for the bowling count.
Well, Drakes has 1, Orion Bostic has 2, and Raymond O'Geese, he has 1. From the bowlers who would have been used. Remember, Anthony Morris at the top of the innings with his allocation of 4 overs. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 11. And he was the man who really was instrumental in tightening the screws at the top of the order. Being with 5 overs remaining, I told you, Drakes has 1, Bostic 2, that's 3, and O'Geese 1, so that's 4. So they'll really have to look somewhere else.
Well, really, no. Young, he's going to bowl this one to bowl out his spell. So this will be considered the 5th.
3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 22. Outside the yard stump, short cut to the right of the man at third man with a lot of work to do coming around to his right. Looks like Ogisi does well.
So that's a good start to the over, Kurt. Just picking off the boundary, the runs here. Not waiting until you get something for the boundary, but picking up 2 off the first delivery, Eswick. And just a good work. He just needs to continue to bat in this vein and try to get Dave Clark on strike whenever he gets the chance.
At the top of the broadcast page, we have spoken about the depth of the veterans team and how they always seem to find a way to get out of difficult positions. But this Limers team, Payne, they really don't go away. They always stay in the fight, and I can assure you that whatever target they get up to, they will believe in themselves that they have the bowling unit in which to defend it.
Well, that's the fight that you need. That's why they're here in the final, Kurt. So with that kind of mentality, you can see why they're here.
Remember, in the 5 years of this tournament, the 5th year of this tournament, Payne, and these two teams have featured in almost all of the finals. Both teams have won this competition 2 times. So one really looking to get ahead of the other. A delivery outside the off stump, giving lots of room, punching the offside. That man Winston Warren, who's done a lot of work in that square cover point boundary region, Payne, does some more work coming around to his left, and a double to the batsman Estwick. He's up to 8, and it's got up to 84 for 5, 15.3 overs.
Yeah, Estwick, he's done well since he's came to the crease, Kurt. He's been busy. He's been picking it over. He's gotten Clark on strike on some occasions, and he's picking up the 2s. 2 so far in this over, picking up some 2-2s, so he's done a good job.
As we've been now being blessed with brilliant sunshine, a full delivery outside the off stump, goes through to be taken by the keeper. There was the batsman flashing, didn't make contact, and the wicketkeeper Agar good enough to take this one. 84 for 5. Almost the end of over number 16. Some discipline stuff. They've just given up some 10 extras, Payne, made up of 10 wides. Driven into the offside. They've gone for 1. Will they think about the second run? Clark is a long way down. The fielder in Bostic comes in rather quickly and then sends a good return up to the bowlers and restricts the batsman to 1. So there was the urgency in the running coming from Dave Clark, looking for that second run, but Orion Bostic, aware of what was going on, got in rather quickly and then hurriedly got the ball over his hands.
Yes, Kurt, as you speak about that discipline by the veterans team, I can tell you as well, Kurt, they've kind of starved the Limers for boundaries. They've only had some 4 boundaries in this inning so far, with 1-6 as well. So they've really done really well and restricted them to get any boundaries.
It's been a collection of errors here by Leon Lane. First, he dropped that catch at point. Delivery struck straight to him at backward point. And then, not having taken the catch, Payne, he had a shy at the non-striker's end. There was no one at home because Bostic was in mid-pitch, hands on head, astonished at the fact that Lane didn't take that catch, and the batsman had enough time at the end of over number 16 to complete a second run. And at the end of it, the Limers 11, they're 87 for 5. Estwick is on 9, Dave Clark on 24.
Yeah, bad miss there by this man Leon Lane. A ball struck straight to him at that point area. He should have taken that, Kurt. But Dave Estwick good enough to get away with that one. As you said, Young very disappointed that his man didn't take that catch and then throwing the ball away. And this team would be very disappointed with him. But again, the partnership continues to grow, Kurt. And this
partnership now worth for 19 runs. The current run rate 5.44. They will really need to improve on that, Andy Payne. As Ogis now being entrusted to bowl his final over. 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 24. Currently going at an economy rate of 8 and over, Payne. And I had a conversation years ago with Handy Brooms, and he always told me anytime you're going for more runs than the current run rate of the team, you're bowling poorly. A delivery which is driven down too long on. We'll get another single. Is Estwick into double figures. Payne, interesting. He's only the 4th batsman to get into double figures. Agar 31, Clark 24, Ennis 10, and now Estwick on 10. 88 for 5. Can they get it to something defendable here? Ogis aborts his run.
He said he's the leading wicket taker for the tournament, Kurt. You say he's now going to 16 wickets.
Followed by Troy Toppin, whose competition has come to end with 11 wickets. There's Clark again tugging a delivery into the onside. This time there's a fielder at home at backward square who underhands his return, which then lands in no man's land. But the batsmen have already decided they will settle on 1. As we say, a pleasant good afternoon to our scorer, Kamisha, with a K, a lovely young lady. 89 for 5. Driven straight down the ground. Always get value for your shots down there. 2 fielders come around, converge on it. Drix finally comes around from long off to his right. Does the field and sends a good return too up to the bowler's end, where it's collected by August 90 for 5.
Yes, Kurt, like you said, Ogi's the leading board wicket taker here. He's also got in that rank Ian Dritz, who's got to come back at some point, Kurt. But I think this pair will walk to back down till they get to Dritz. And in that final over, you want to have a go at him.
A slower delivery there, delivered by the man Ogis, really utilizing his bag of tricks here. Now trying to close out his spell. Currently going now at 7.36 Spain. The team run rate 5.40. 90 for 5. Importantly, he would have picked up another wicket to add to his tally. He's on his way into Border Clark. Clark is driving down to long on, powerfully feeling with a lot of work to do. Comes around and does well. He also gets a good bounce. Some would argue he would have created that bounce for himself by coming around so quickly on the long on boundary. So another single to Dave Clark. He's up to 26. And the Estwick coming back in the strike. He's got 11, 91 for 5. As he's about to close his spell, delivery driven into the onside again by Estwick. Picks up his 12th run. And at the end of over number 17, I can tell you, Payne winning the toss and decided to backstage and come back here. A partnership worth now 24 runs. Raymond Ogis would have completed his spell with 4 overs, no minutes, 1 for 29. The Limers 11, 92 for 5.
Good spell there by Ogis. In the contest, he'd be very expensive. He'd be disappointed with what he conceded today. 4 overs, 29 runs. Just picking up that 1 wicket. Kurt, like you said, he started this innings as a leader wicket taker. He came into the comfortable position. His team was well placed, the veterans, and he's going a bit expensive, but he's had good support from his other 4 bowlers, Kurt, who's been very economical, as he said. Boss Tate, he's got to come back for 2. I'm sure they'll be looking to reintroduce him into the attack about no. But like I said, they need to get up to anything over 120 if they're going to give a really a fighting total in this final.
Yes, Payne. Ian Drake's 3 overs, no middles, none for 15, going up 5 and over. Anthony Morris really did stand out, 4 overs, 1 made and 1 for 11, going at 2.75. Orion Bostic comes back in the attack, 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 8, just going at 4 runs and over. Alan Young, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 29, 7.25. And Raymond Ogis really with a run rate of 7.25 as well.
Yeah, so there's like you said, those lot being very economical, Kurt. But I'd be interested to see how Bostic comes back here. No, Dave Clark, he's in a good rhythm, and with him is Estwick, who's done a good job so far in giving support. He just needs to carry on and take it down to the 20th over if this pair can do it for the team, Kurt.
92 for 5. Start of over number 18. As you said, Payne, they would have gone back to Orion Boston. He has 2 overs left, so they probably entrusted him with over number 18 and the 20th. But it'll be interesting to see now the approach of Dave Estwick. He's really reined himself in so far, trying to build a partnership between himself and Dave Clark. The 2 Daves really at the crease, Dave Clark and Dave Estwick. So hopefully now they will really look to step on the accelerator. As we must give kudos to our technical men, Mr. David Waterman, and
Dave.
our producer.
Another Dave, yes.
Another Dave.
Philip Hackett, our technical man as well, our producer.
DK Media Plus, a delivery into the offside and quickly go through for a single. 93 for 5. Top 2 men going around, Andy.
Indeed.
Philip Hackett really doesn't like to be mentioned at all. I don't know why. Can you tell me why, Andy?
I can tell you why. I will tell you why. No.
93 for 5. As Bostic. He's done reasonably well for his side so far. Can he close it out? Giving himself some room is Clark and cutting to the left of that man coming around who's done good work all afternoon. And this time, though, Payne, coming under a bit of pressure this time and a boundary to Dave Clark. There he was giving himself some room, trying to open up the offside, and he did so, and he did so well, Payne. 97 for 5. Quickly up to 30 from 26 deliveries, Dave Clark.
He's batted beautifully so well for Kurt so far. A ball given him back of the length, and he just used the feet in the crease, like he said, and came a long way outside the leg side and accessed the offside and hit that one past the man at battery point. Had that man on the boundary, and Warren doing a lot of work today, but he wasn't good enough to stop that one as it was struck pretty firmly as well, Kurt.
Wait on Bostic once more. He's driving at a level outside the yard stump, this time not taken by the keeper. And obviously, you know, Bostic not one who's usually short of a word. He will definitely have a word with Dave Clark.
And that's contrasting, Kurt, to when we first met Boston.
97 for 5. Clark 30. With him is Estwick on 30. Partnership worth some 29 runs so far as we head down the home stretch. Waits on ball stick. Whipping this one into the onside. Will land safely. They will go for one. They will come back for the second run. No, they won't. As Morris is in rather quickly. Sends a good return up to the keeper's end. Taken by wicketkeeper Pedro Egar. Restricts the batsman to one. 98 for 5. Estwick on 13. Comes back in the strike.
That's a good comeback there by Boston. Kurt asking Dave Estwick to hit him through the onside on this occasion. Like you said, that's the bigger side of the ground, and Estwick just being able to just chip that one over the mid wicket area. That's a better ploy by the team, feeding if Boston is going to bowl him a bit straighter.
Straight. They've gone for one. The fielder comes around, and yet again, Payne. This time, no urgency shown in the running, but that was a good shot by Estwick. Again, hitting straight down and trying to get value for his shots. 99 for 5.
Another good delivery there by Boston. Kurt asking him to hit him as straight as possible. He's coming a bit on the straight on into the pitch, or as we say, Kurt, or into the wickets. Asked him to hit more to the leg side, but LaFon did some good work on the boundary there.
Back in the way again. Beats the man at short third man and into the boundary. There was Dave Clark yet again, giving himself some room, understanding that the line with the field set pin is definitely going to be outside the outside, coming a bit straighter, giving himself some room and finding the boundary down at the third man region. So much to the boundary as the 100 comes up of 117 deliveries. There have been some good work here on offer. There was the expensive over delivered here by Boston. At the end of 18 overs, 103 for 5. Dave Clark, 35 from 29 deliveries. And Estwick, a partnership now worth some 35 runs. And the pair looking to close out the innings for the Limers.
Yeah, some good innovation being showed there by Clark. Kurt, you say, using the crease very well and going a bit outside the leg some on that occasion and accessing the offside, just using the pace of the ball as well and be good enough to guide that one past the third man and into the boundary for 4. So he's done well in that over, picking up some 2 boundaries in that over, Kurt. So a really expensive over is a tick of things, and he's really moved his team beyond the 100 mark.
103 for 5. 10 extras made up of all wides, 10 wides. Drake's 3 overs, no maidens, none for 15, being entrusted with over number 19 by his captain, Brian Johnson. Drake's really a dependable bowler at all phases, in all phases of the game. Usually starts at the top and then asks to come back in the final overs, really, the death overs, and he's really done well.
He's done very well, like he said, Kurt. He started this game with some 7 wickets, and he's come and entrusted to bowl the hard overs here, Kurt, with Dave Clark very entrenched on a good score, and his support coming from Dave Estwick. This over is going to be very interested how they go about this one.
103 for 5. Remember, this is the final of the Amas over 50s T20 competition at the BNOC ground in Woodburn, St. Philip. 103 for 5 as Drake's doesn't deliver. Umpire Cullimore signals dead ball. Full delivery. Tugged into the onside. I thought he should have done a little bit more of that one, Pin. Should have gotten underneath that one.
Yeah, Estwick be very disappointed with himself that he didn't get on that one, and because it was a loose delivery being delivered there by Drake on his comeback, but he got away with that one.
Clark back in the way, steering this one down to the backward point, short third man region. Gone for one again. Not so sure that's the shot the doctor would have ordered at this stage of the innings this time, because Ian Drake is definitely not going to offer you the same amount of pace as a ball stick. So not a lot of pace to work with outside the off stump. Can assure you that is the positive intent needed. Now Estwick again paying, striking the ball down the ground powerfully. 106 for 5. Can they get up to that 120 that you were speaking about earlier?
They'll need a boundary if they're going to do that. But Dave Clark, he's the man on strike now, and he'll want to do that for his team.
He's beaten outside the yard stump, so you wouldn't get a boundary there. 106 for 5. He's batted well. He's got the top score, 36 from 31. Delivery struck 4 fours.
So Change the field here now by Drates. You see him brought that man from the short fine leg over to the short third man. A good ploy with what Estwick is trying to do right now, Kurt. So
Especially from what we would have seen of Dave Clark backing him away and giving himself a lot of room. Down the track, when he gets it, drugs it into the onside, where the deep set man at mid-wicket looks like LaFawn does the fielding, and yet again, only one run.
So a good start to this over here by Drates. Like you said, he's come back into this difficult over, but he's done well so far.
About to close out his spell, 3.5 overs, no batters, none for 19. Balls of delivery. Estwick is driving through the offside, gone for one. I can assure you that that's all there will be as a fielder in Brian Johnson. The captain comes around to his left, does the fielding. So at the end of the penultimate over of this innings, Ian Drakes will complete his spell as well. 4 overs, no batters, none for 20. The Limers, 108 for 5 and 12 runs away from your target.
Yeah, well, he was to back them to beat 12 runs in the final over. 120, like I said, will be a good target. A fight in total in the final for sure. But this veterans team, they'll think that they'll be done very well up to this point, Kurt. Bowling some 19 overs and having them in such a position. I mean, they're really in a good position, the veterans, if they're going to defend this title.
108 for 5. And Bostic will be entrusted with this all-important final over in the final of the Amas over 50s T20 competition. The first of its kind in the English-speaking Caribbean for over 50 players paying 108 for 5.
It's a very strategic field placing.
They're bringing the third man inside the circle. The fine leg also inside the circle. They've sent long on, long off, and deep forward square. Out, man, backward square also out as well. Delivery outside the off stump, punch into the offside by Estwick to pick up a single, to pick up his 18th run in the 109th run of the innings. 109 for 5.
A good single there. Estwick doing the right thing and bringing Dave Clark into strike. Clark, like you say, he's been doing the most of the scoring and he's done well in the previous over off of Bostic. So it's good to get him on strike and get him on strike early.
Delivery whip down to the fine leg, Richard Drapes with a lot of work to do, and he gets a boot down.
That's typical Ian Drates. He does well in that position, Kurt. Just using his foot on that occasion, restricting them to 1. So a good start by Boston. You would think, send on the first 2 deliveries before conceding the boundary, you would think that he's in a good position.
Would you say Drapes came around a bit there like John Barnes? 110 for 5. Estwick is backing away. This has been some good tight stuff on offer here in the final over by Bostic. No, really not allowing the batsmen to get onto him and really not giving them enough room to free their arms, either honing in on those stumps. 111 for 5.
Yeah, Bostic is doing very well, Kurt. Like you said, you know that the intent is to bowl him as straight as possible, asking to hit into that big side at the leg side here. And he's done a good job. He's bowling back of the length and asking them to challenge him. They're trying to get out the leg stump to get the ball into the offside, but he's done so well, they'll be asking a lot of them.
3.3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 22. Square leg now being asked to go on the boundary. They've brought the man at point inside the circle. Back of the way, hit to that man Lane again. And Lane again puts it down. But more importantly, though, for the veterans team, even although he didn't take the catch, what is more important, it's a dot ball because no run was taken. But I think they would have been. Which one do you think they would have preferred, Payne?
I think they would want the wicket of this man Clark, who still got 2 deliveries to face up to Kurt, and he's capable of hitting the ball over the infield. So they wanted to get this wicket. If you have a look at that work there, you see Lane. She'd be very disappointed.
111 for 5 down the leg side, high into the air. Lane with another chance to redeem himself. And it's dropped again. They will come back for 2. There is a batsman appeal given out, run out, looking for the second run. Andy Payne, and caught short of his ground, high into the air. With a chance now to make amends. Let's look at Leon Lane coming around again. High into the air. He got his hands to it. And the catch put down. But in the end, good enough to recover. The throw goes to the keeper's end. The Bills were whipped off, but wicketkeeper Eargard found wanting. So wicket number 6 goes down with the score now on 111. In fact, 112. 112 for 6 with one legal delivery to go, and Len Gill will be the batsman entrusted with that final delivery pin.
Yeah, Len Gill is a dangerous customer as well, but he's just got one delivery, Kurt, to face up to here from Boston. But I'll tell you what, this man Leon Lane, he'd be very happy that he was able to entrust a run out there after dropping just another catch, Kurt. So he put down 3 in that point position. But again, Dave Clark, he was the man in, and he was a want to carry on to the back end. He wasn't good enough to get into the crease for his second run, as you saw Eswick pushing him to try to get him back on strike, and Pedro Aguirre just whipping the Bills off there, and Empire Colin Moore just signaled the end of Dave Clark. He's got to go. Fall of another wicket, but bring Len Gill with just one legal delivery to face up to here, Kurt.
So yes, Spain, you mentioned that Lane would have put down those catches at point. So will you be pointing your fingers at Lane?
Well, the fielding team, the veterans, definitely be pointing the fingers at him.
Also, now would be a good time to mention that Lane's company, the Rotoplastics Barbados Limited, with the boundaries aligned and brightened up with those flags around the ground. If you hit one of those flags full, you can walk away as a batsman with $200. And if you hit it on the boundary pin, you can get $100. So lots on offer here. The Rotoplastic Signs, Rotoplastics Barbados Limited, they're located in Webster's Industrial Park in St. Michael. As Boston about to close out over number 20, David is driven powerfully down to Ron Bates, who doesn't feel cleanly, and it goes into the boundary. So really and truly, what was good work being exhibited in the field, all innings at the end of it. Some poor work by firstly by Leon Lane, and then Ron Bates to final delivery, and they will finish on 116 for 6. Len Gill will finish with a strike rate of 400, facing only one delivery and striking the boundary. 116 for 6. I'll quickly endeavor to run through the scorecard for you. Michael Agard correction, caught by Ian Drix off the ball of Raymond O'Geese for 31. Ken Mears run out by Winston Warren for 1. Derwin Thompson caught Alan Young off the ball of Anthony Morris for 1. Adrian Braffett bowled by Orion Bostic for 1. Dave Clark run out by Leon Lane for 39 after he was dropped. Curtis Ennis caught Pedro Aguirre, the keeper, off the ball of Alan Young for 10. Left not out on 19 was Dave Estwick. A good innings from him, 19 deliveries. Len Gill faced just that one delivery. No sign of the captain Keith Seal with the bat. There were also some 10 extras made up of all 10 wides. And quickly the bowling figures, Andy Payne. Ian Drakes, 4 overs, no maidens, none for 20. Anthony Morris, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 11. Orion Bostic, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 24. Alan Young, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 29. And Raymond O'Geese, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 29. Innings that really didn't get going. Andy Payne, they would have lost wickets with the score on 2, 22, 24, 49, 68, and 112. Your thoughts on the work of the Limers firstly, and then the bowlers of the veterans?
Okay, veterans definitely they've done a good job here, Kurt, in restricting them to just that little total. But the Blimers, they've got their runs on the board, and they'll tell you they'll be happy to say 116 for 8, just 4 short of what we thought would have been the target of 120. I can tell you, runs on the board, Kurt, in the final, always run on the board. As we move away from here now, Kurt, as we come back into the second innings, 117 to get the veterans if they're going to defend this title of theirs.
As we head into the break, we'll break for about 15 minutes or so. You can rejoin us in about 15 minutes or so with the Limers innings closer to 116 for 6. If the veterans are to get over the line, they will need to get up to 117 as we take a break here at the BNOC ground.
Any investment in education is a positive step in the development of our society. Call the Calvary Institute. We offer a wide range of vocational and technology courses. We offer personalized support to students at primary and secondary level. Call us at 426-2337 or WhatsApp 851-2109.
Welcome, Lucille. Preparing for, well, some may want to call it history repeating itself. Certainly, in terms of the matchup, we can go with that, but you wouldn't want the outcome to be the same as last year, would you, when the Limers come up against the veterans?
No, not at all. I would prefer any of the two previous years.
Okay, so they pretty much like what the Eagles did to the Chiefs. I'm getting the impression that the veterans, they got in the way of your hat trick.
Yes, they did. Or they may argue that I got in the way of theirs for 2 years, but at the end of the day, yes, we were actually double defending champions, and they took us out last year.
Okay, fair enough. I
Yep.
understand that in this Amass over 50 T20 competition, you're the only team that have ever won. And they what, 5 years now?
Yeah, this is going into the 5th year, and we are the only team that have ever won. I think, if my memory serves me correctly, veterans won it the first year, we won the next two, and then veterans won last year again.
Okay. All right.
So,
So what plans do you have to recapture the trophy that you probably think is rightfully yours?
well, I'll stay very generic, just in case any of the veterans are looking at this broadcast before the game. But at the end of the day, I think teamwork is important. Veterans is a very strong team, very experienced team, and I think we need to pull together as a team. We have to execute. As you know, Philip, you can have all the plans in place, but at the end of the day, execution is key. So once we come tomorrow, we stick to our game plan and we execute. I think we stand a good chance of regaining the title.
Okay. You must be doing something correct that you have been this dominant over the period of the competition, because I know for sure from seeing it myself that there are a number of players in the competition who have made names for themselves in cricket over the years, and many of them are still playing at a pretty decent and competitive level.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to think that at the end of the day, let's start at first principles, and the draft is very important. I think once you have a game plan and you know how you want to go about it, I think having the correct players that suit that style of cricket is very important. And with the Amass tournament, we have an opportunity to draft players at the beginning of every, or let's say at the end of every tournament. Looking forward to the next tournament, and that's really where it starts: getting the right players that suit the style of cricket you want to play, and then making sure that you're able to utilize them. And that's where it starts for us. But then, obviously, playing on the field, playing on the day is very important. And we have a number of guys who are very committed. They hate to lose. And at the end of the day, once we get going and everyone is on board, I think we are a pretty difficult team to get over.
But what keeps you going? You and the other guys, I mean, this is a tournament for over 50s. Some people, they hit 25 and they begin to move away from the playing field and the courts and that sort of thing. What keeps you guys going and so competitive as well? You're not just playing, I know you enjoy it, but you're not only playing for the fun. I can see that. Don't try to fool me. This is serious competitive stuff. You guys, I've seen confrontations, all sorts of things I've seen. What really keeps you guys that competitive?
Yeah, I think it's generational. I think at the end of the day, we have been playing against each other for the last 30, 40 years, and nothing has changed. We don't want the others to get the better of you. And
You just do it a little bit slower, I suppose.
We do it a lot slower.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
you
a
were,
lot more tentatively.
uh-huh.
Well, at the end of the day, whereas let's say all now, I would probably be now coming in from a final practice session. There's no way I'm practicing the day before the game.
Yeah.
So
There'll be no game if you practice the day before the game, at least not for you.
you need me on Saturday or you need me on Friday, not both.
I see. Fair enough. Okay, but really and truly though, if you look even beyond this competition, how important really do you think is sport at a mature stage of life?
Well, it's key. I think at the end of the day, we need to, it's healthy. We need to stay healthy. And this is not only from a physical perspective, mental perspective. You should see the guys when we get into a huddle and the thought process is going. And I think activity, brain activity, physical activity, that is key at this stage. And once we find something that we love and it can keep us going, I think that it is ideal for anyone at our age. In fact, I would encourage persons who have not yet started playing in the Amass cricket, T20 cricket, to look into joining from next year. And I know that Anthony and his team at AMAS, they do have a number of persons every year who recognize it's competitive. It may be a little slower as you said, but it's very competitive, high quality, and I think it's something that we look forward to every year.
Congratulations, Brian. You are in the final again. No stranger to the final, no stranger to success in the AMAS over 50 T20 competition.
Yeah, thanks very much, Philip. Yes, this is the fifth year of the competition and the fifth time that we're in the finals.
And you've already won what, 3 times? I think you're
twice.
Twice. You run twice. So you're looking for your third title now.
Looking to make it 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. I see. Okay.
2 times we lost were to the Limers who were playing. We are playing again. This will be the fourth time that we have met in the finals.
Okay. All right. So the Limers and the veterans know how to win. How has it been though for the competition for you? Let's say this season. How has it gone for your team this season? Obviously, you've done well, but I mean, you may have overcome some hurdles. It may have been plain sailing. What was it like?
No, I think the most probably difficult match was the first game. Right, I missed that match because it wasn't well, but I believe since it was the first for the season, the guys might have been probably a bit of nerves, and so we had a low score that game. Since then, we have moved from strength to strength, and we've won most of those other games pretty comfortably.
You said something about nervousness, but I mean, I almost can't recall when Brian Johnson was not playing cricket. You've been around a while. You're saying that you veterans, you guys are so experienced. You still get nerves when you go out there?
I believe all batsmen do, even if they say they don't. I guess you have that pent up energy to do well. So you're hoping that you don't get that ball that have your number early and such, and then after that, once you get in, then you get comfortable. But I mean, saying that I believe most batsmen do have some sort of nerves, in every innings that they start.
I did mention that you've been around for quite some time, and I often wonder what keeps you going. I mean, some guys certainly in this part of the world. Those of us beyond the boundary tend to write off cricketers from the time you start 25, 26, 27. But you guys are, still going. The Energizer Bunny. What keeps you guys going?
Well, for me personally, it is the love of the game. And also in part, like I always love to do well. So I try to keep a certain standard up. And to do so, you have to be fairly fit as well. So it helps me with my fitness because I obviously have to put in that work each year to be able to perform up to a certain standard. I always say that when I reach that point where I know I'm struggling in terms of eyesight and such, then I know it's time to finish with the game because it is getting harder and harder each year to keep up with that certain standard that you have set yourself.
No,
also the camaraderie to be there with the guys, every weekend, and so it is something that as a cricketer you would miss if you're not around it. So.
Okay. Now you're playing in the over 50s. That's what we're talking about. But I believe up until recently, you've still been competing in the BCI competition. Is that correct?
Yes, currently I'm playing for the Barbados National Oil Company. I do represent them at the intermediate level. Couple of years I was playing the 2020 second division, but then when we go to the longer formats, which will be the 40 over and the 3-day, I normally play the intermediate.
Any investment in education is a positive step in the development of our society. Call the Calvary Institute. We offer a wide range of vocational and technology courses. We offer personalized support to students at primary and secondary level. Call us at 426-2337 or WhatsApp 851-2109.
So, as we welcome you back to the BNOC ground for the run chase by the veteran side, the target is 117, as the Limers team would have gotten up to 116 for 6. As we welcome back Andy Payne.
Thank you, Kurt. Back here to, like you said, 117 is the target for the veterans, Kurt, to defend this title in the Yamaha's 50 over 50s 20 over side contest. They've done very well in the field, Kurt, to restrict them to 116. The veterans, like you said, a very well drilled unit, very experienced players, but runs on the board in the final. You take an early wicket, you can always set them on the back foot.
Yeah, a couple early wickets can create some sort of pressure, as Ken Mears being entrusted with the new ball from the Sovereign end. We haven't really seen him done a lot of bowling in this year's edition, but the captain has gone back to him. Ken Mears, you know, Payne, with his gentle medium pace, usually gets the ball to do a lot through the air.
Well, a new tactic by the Limers here, Kurt, usually Gittins is the one entrusted with the new ball to start at that southern end. But to see Mears, who's been the man of the match in the semi-final as well, so I think that would have been a factor in him bowling the first ball here, Kurt.
One without loss. They're already on the way as a delivery outside the off-stump, punch into the offside, and quick bit of running here. Bates seemed to have been a bit of trouble there, but in the end, he managed to get home as the throw was a bit off. Keeper Thompson from behind the stumps then take cleanly, and the man from backwards square to do the tidy up. 2 without loss, but the difference in approach here clearly seen, Payne. Quickly, good running, good communication between these two batters early in the start of the innings.
Yeah, good start there by them, just getting the easy singles in that offside.
Bates hits this one bounce, 2 bounces, and a roll into the long off boundary. A short delivery outside the off stump, no pace, and Bates, the tournament second highest run scorer, Payne, trying to get close to Adrian Braffett. He's only with that boundary, no Payne. He's only 19 runs away, I can tell you. So it's going to be interesting to see if Ron Bates can ease that orange cap away from Adrian Braffett in this innings. First boundary to Bates, 5 without loss. We're in over number 6 without loss. Bates up to 5. We're in over number 1. Some adjustments now being made in the field. They asked the man at the mid-wicket region to come inside the boundary, inside the infield. They're going to send the long off back to the boundary. So they've got the long off and long on back. There's a slip. There's a man at backward point. There's a man at cover point, a man at extra cover, a man at short mid-wicket, a man at forward square, and a man at backward square. Bates down to the third man region, to the right of that man at first slip. Another boundary to Ron Bates. Quickly up to 9 pins. A delivery outside the off stump. Bates backing and cutting away. 10 without loss.
I can tell you the contrast about these two teams, Kurt, is that in the power play, the veterans, they're going to be a lot more aggressive than what we have seen from the Limers. If that player Ron Bates in, it's going to be a lot more intent, Kurt.
Bates up to 9. You can always be assured with Ron Bates. You really can't take your eyes off the cricket when Ron Bates is batting, and he's been always that way, even from his youthful days at the foundation school. Delivery outside the yard stump. There he is again, driving outside the yard stump. A bit of pace taken off there by Ken Mears, beat him outside the yard stump, going through to be taken by the keeper in Derwin Thompson.
He said Thompson, he's that utility player. He's been entrusted to do keeping duties here as well. Certainly you might see him, Kirk, coming out to bowl some more spinners as well.
There's a delivery, big batsman forward, down a long ways. Lafon at the non-strikers in, and then the throw goes down to the long off ridge and had a shy at the stumps. I think it was worth the effort there picking up that early wicket. The run out was definitely on the cards. He had a shy at the non-strikers and it went all the way down to long off where the fielder was at home in Gittins. So at the end of over number 1 and the Pain in pursuit of a target of 117, it's been a bright start by the veterans. They're 11 without loss.
That's 11 without loss. The first over being bowled there by that man Mears. Kurt, he was entrusted to bowl with the first ball up. Like you said, generally it would be Gittins from that southern end, but he's been taken down for 2 boundaries by Ron Bates. Bates, he said he's going to be very aggressive. That's his style. That's his nature. That's his natural game, Ron Bates. So he's putting a bit of pressure on the Limers team after just 1 over.
So it will be interesting to see who the captain, Seal, who really is one of the top captains in this tournament. He's really methodical in his approach. Also very analytical in his approach. There's always a reason behind everything he does, Andy Payne.
Yes, very much so. He's one of those captains who's very astute. He studies his players. He studies the opposition. Here you see entrusting Len Gill, the left-hand pacer, to start the attack as well against this man, Ron Bates. Generally, they will go with someone like Victor Patrick. So it seems to be a new opening pair, Kurt, for the Limers in this final game.
Well, for the couple of games that they would have seen of the Limers team, they would have gone with Len Gill at the top of the order. And Len Gill has really been wanting to produce, pick those early wickets up, and that's really what the doctor will require here for the Limers team. They really need to pick up some early wickets, get the team on the back foot, build some early pressure. Then with that scoreboard pressure, maybe they can infiltrate the batting of the veterans. Delivery which is bringing Ron Bates forward. So it's been a good start by Len Gill. He's being watched, but he can show you lots of his Pickwick teammates are over to the eastern side of the ground. You can see Clinton St. Hill out there. You can see one, Mr. Harris, Captain Harris, also in attendance as well. 11 without loss as Gill into Bates. Bates hit this one into the air. The leading edge found this one will run down to the fine leg region. They've gone for 1. Bates will come back for the second round. Wicketkeeper Derwin Thompson with a lot of work to do. Get it down to the fine leg region, then sends an underhand return to be taken by the man, the captain, coming up to the stumps. But Bates, a bit fortuitous, Payne picks up a second run. Takes him up to 12, and he's got to 13 without loss.
Yeah, a bit of a false shot there induced by Gill. You saw Bates going for that pull, his favorite shot. He's taking a bit of a top edge, but it lands in no man's land. So you see Gill giving that left-handed option to his captain and inducing the false shot.
Short delivery this time, and Bates inside his wicket, hitting it down to the backward square leg region. This time, the ball going where really Ron Bates would have intended. 17 without loss, Andy Payne. And I can assure you, Ron Bates, one of those batsmen who dies by that adjective, fortune favors the brave.
Like you said, a short ball, and that's Ron Bates' forte, really much so, Kurt. Like you said, he got away with the previous one, forcing the top edge. But at this occasion, just another wayward delivery down the leg side there by Gill. And Bates, he was onto it in the flash, Kurt, and heading it past the backward square for his 3rd boundary in his innings so far. Like you said, Ron Bates, he's going to be a very aggressive player here, and that's the way he knows.
17 without loss. Ron Bates will continue to be aggressive at the top of the order. LaFawn is on 1. Always a useful foil for Ron Bates. Delivery to bring the batsman forward, and yet again LaFawn called him quickly through for a single. Good communication by the pair. Good running. 18 without loss. Only an over number 2. Remember the target is 117, so it's been a bright start by the veteran side. Ron Bates quickly up to 17. LaFawn on 1. Comes back in the strike.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths of this veterans team. The running between the wickets, between Bates, Bates and LaFawn. They run very well between the wickets. As was just to say, Minister Woods just passing through in front of the commentators, and you know he's just a bit of a distraction, but a good aggressive running between this pair, Kurt.
LaFawn is a long way across his stumps to the left-handed seamer and punching a delivery into the offside. And there is no run. 18 without loss. Remember the target is 117. Delivery which is driven down to the fielder at mid-off to pick up the 19th run of the innings. And his second run And at the end of over number 2, in pursuit of that target of 117, the veterans team, they're 19 without loss.
A good start by the veterans team, like you said. Good aggressive batting by Ron Bates with LaFawn offering good assistance. Like you said, he would run pretty quickly. As you see the crowd here, Kurt, a very good crowd for this final. Looking down at that, the western side there, Kurt, you can see all of the spectators that you spoke about, the Pitwick crew, a lot of the legends players who played in this tournament, they're there as well, and a good crowd on show here for this final.
Yeah, also there as well, Andy Payne, is some members of the Brayton side there really here, hailing for Dave Clark. He has a large fan club. You see about 20 players from the Brayton side here, and they've turned up here more regularly than they will turn up during the BCS season.
But Kurt, you see the introduction of that man Gittins, who's been the main thread with a new ball for the Limers team throughout this competition. He's now entrusted here, Kurt. Most spectators here just to the right side of us here, Kurt. You've seen a lot of the players from the Piranhas team there as well, Kurt. So good following here, and it's good to see all the spectators there, the players who have lost their way in the tournament. They're here to support the tournament.
Delivery outside the off-stop, punch into the offside. Curtis Innes comes around, does good fielding Payne, and they pick up their 20th run. But a lovely crowd on hand here, Payne, in the afternoon after Valentine's. Did you celebrate Valentine's yesterday, Payne?
Oh, Kurt, I didn't, but I'll take this opportunity to wish you a happy birthday, Kurt, as today is our commentator Kurt Sean's birthday. So all the viewers just around Barbados and around the world to know it's a happy birthday coming from us in the commentary booth to our commentator Kurt Sean.
I don't want you to sing it, but we'll get back to that after this delivery because it's really important to me that we don't want to miss it. A delivery outside the all-stump, punch over the all-side, and Bates will pick up another boundary. A delivery outside the all-stump, angle into the batsman Bates, who was giving himself some room and punching through the all-side. Bates picks up his 4th boundary of the innings. He's quickly up to 21. Andy Payne and score quickly up to 24 without loss. But I want to ask you, with a name like Andy Payne, I really don't think that you would have really gotten a Valentine anyhow.
Would have been painful for someone.
It would have been painful for someone.
Noted. But again, you saw Cam Gittins coming into the attack, Kurt, and you see the keeper, Derwin Thompson, very disgusting with him, asking him to bowl a lot straight at the Drates. He's giving that one room on the offside, and to Bates, and Bates capitalized, as you know, Kurt, off the bat for how strong he is, and said that disgust is being shown by his team.
24 without loss, so the veterans continue to be large and in charge here at the BNOC ground. In the final, a short delivery by Gittins this time around Bates. Comes inside his wicket as this one lands just inside the backward square leg boundary. So the 5th boundary to Ron Bates. He's really going at a rate of knots here in the finals. 28 without loss. Bates quickly up to 25 and really doing the bulk of the scoring. But what is characteristic about this innings of Ron Bates? Andy Payne, 5 boundaries so far.
Well, that's the way Bates play, Kurt. Like you said, if he spend any length of time in the middle, you know he's going to score quickly. He's not one who will poke and prod around Ron Bates. And the ball just there, you can see him using his initiative. He knew that Gittins was going to try to bowl him a bit inside. You saw him on the back foot, Kurt, and waiting for that one. It just stood up to be hit, and Bates capitalized.
Outside the all-stump. A better delivery, a better line delivery this time, and taken by keeper Thompson. So Payne, a position of 28 without loss, with only in the 3rd over. Who can Captain Keith Seal turn to?
Well, he's turned to his man Gittins, who's been generally his main weapon. But Gittins, he's proven to be expensive to start. Bates be disappointed that he didn't put that full pitch away. But they've got quite a lot of bowlers in there. Mears, he's gone for 1 over Gill as well. But there's also got Patrick and Eswit, who's done pretty well in the semi-final. He's still very much one of the bowlers, and he's definitely must be in the plans.
So an over which cost some 10 runs. And at the end of over number 3, I can tell you, in pursuit of this target of 117, the veterans team with Ron Bates on 26. With him is Jeffrey LaFawn. He's got 3. A position of strength, some would argue, Andy Payne, 29 without loss.
A good start there by the veterans, Kurt. They're looking to defend this title of theirs. They won it last year, and they're very much here in the final again against the St. Limers team. Like I said, they need to get wickets if they're going to put any pressure on this veterans team here, Kurt. And they'll be needing wickets. They'll be needing wickets badly. But this man, Ron Bates, more in particular, Kurt, like you said, he started this innings on 260 runs, trying to get up to that 292, 93 runs by Adrian Braffett as the leader run scoring this tournament, and he's very much on route.
Well, he's just 8 runs short of it now. He's up to 286 as Len Gill aborts his run. A dead ball called and signaled by umpire Earl Cullimore. Start of over number 4. So Bates waits on Gill. Short delivery. And this one is hit high, hard, and very far. It will land somewhere in the region of the guard hut to the entrance of the oil company, paying a maximum now to accompany his 5 boundaries. So Ron Bates really scoring at the rate of knots. And I can tell you he's just the 1 run away from being the tournament's leading run scorer. He's up to 292 runs. But in this innings, he's up to 32. And 32 rather quickly. 15 balls, 14 minutes of batting. 5 fours and 1 maximum pain, and Ron Bates looking dangerous.
Very dangerous indeed, Kurt. He's such a strong player off that back foot, Kurt. A ball just to the back of the length, and you see him going on the back foot there, Kurt, and hammering that one over the mid-wicket area. Hit it a long way over the mid-wicket and into the fence for 6. His first 6 of the innings, Kurt. But like I said, any length of time spent at the crease by Ron Bates is going to be quick scoring.
And Bates was usually quiet for the duration of the tournament. Remember, he also got 100 in one of the earlier preliminary games. And then he went off the boil. But you know, Bates one of those players who usually turns up at the big games. And deliver said the all-stump. Bates is punching through the offside. Going for an easy single. And I can tell you now, the loud applause that you can hear in the background is because Bates would have now tied with Adrian Braffett at the top of the run scores chart, 293 runs pinned. So just 1 run away now from going to the top of that run scoring chart. 293 runs in this tournament by Ron Bates. Gill into Lafon, and Lafon is beaten with a beauty. And that was a lovely delivery there, Payne.
A typical left-handed delivery, Kurt, just angling that one across the right-handed batsman and just carrying on and beating the outside edge and all the way through to wicketkeeper Thompson. Not taking the edge on that occasion, but a good delivery, like you said, by Gill.
Interestingly, the current run rate, 10.29, 36 without loss. We're in over number 4 is being bowled by Len Gill as Lafon drives straight. And he will get value for his money as there's a misfield by Victor Patrick coming around. And the Payne at the mid-off region, and there was Lafon driving straight. And as we always say in the commentary box, Payne, as long as you go straight, you usually get value for your money. So Lafon now will pick up his first boundary, and the veterans go motoring on. They're 40 without loss.
Yeah, over-pitch delivery there by Gill on that occasion, and Lafon capitalized. He was good enough, Kurt, come on the front foot and hit that one back past the bowler. Patrick coming around to his right, couldn't do the work required, and into the fence for yet another 4 for the veterans.
Delivery turned into the onside. They've gone for 1, and that's all they will be. Our producer, Mr. Philip Hackett, told me, Andy Payne, there's no rally events on in Barbados at this time. But the really and truly, the veterans really motoring on here, Andy Payne. 41 without loss.
Yes, a good start to the innings, Kurt, and this is a good way to challenge a small score. You don't play around with it, Kurt, and they've done so well so far.
As Bates waits, this one is hit high, hard, and the pin is coming towards us, and we will wait for the bang. It's a bang on the roof. A magnificent shot again by Ron Bates to close out over number 4. And at the end of it, Bates hit with his second maximum. And I can tell you, Bates now up to 39. And that really, what a way to go to the top of the leading run scores chart. And the Payne with a big maximum landing on the roof here at the BNOC ground in Woodburn, St. Philip. And really and truly, the veterans large in the charge. After 4 overs, Ron Bates on 39. Lafon on 8. 47 without loss.
47 without loss after 4. You saw Gill on that occasion tear the tape pace off of that delivery, but it was full. And Ron Bates, he was equal to the task there, Kurt. You saw him, his eyes lit up when he saw that ball floated up there by that man, Gill, and he was good enough to dispatch it over the pavilion. As you see, yet another good view as the spectators that we have here in the house, and the ball went sailing over the top of these spectators. And another 6 there by that man, Ron Bates. Like you said, he's rightfully taken over the leader chart in the batters runs, the most runs in this tournament, and he's done really well. Kurt, can tell you, Bates, he's now going into the 300 range. As Adrian Braffett, he's shot at 293. Brian Johnson, the captain of the veterans team here, he started with 220 runs, Kurt, and I'll tell you some other good performances in the tournament that came from that man, Raymond O'Geese, who's finished with some 16 wickets in the tournament. Troy Toppin of the challengers, he picked up 11 wickets. Ian Drates of the veterans, he has 6 wickets in the tournament. As is Darren Thompson of the Limers, you ask who they can turn to, Kurt. He's picked up 6 wickets. He's entrusted with the wicket-keeping duties, but he's had 6 wickets in the tournament, but he's behind the stumps, Kurt.
47 without loss. The veterans really bossing the power play here. Ron Bates, the dangerous Ron Bates. You can never write off a player with the aggressive intent of Ron Bates. 39 from 17 deliveries, 18 minutes of batting, 5 fours and 2 sixes, striking at 229.40. He's at the non-strikers end at the moment, which is a good thing for the bowlers from the Limerick side. 47 without loss. We're in over number 5. The current run rate 11.75. The required run rate 4.38 as a delivery which is played down to the backward square region by Lafon to pick up his 9th run and the 48th run of the innings. The veterans in pursuit of a target of 117 after the Limers were restricted to 116 for 6 in their allocation of 20 overs. The top scorer coming from Dave Clark with 35. Michael Agar 31, and the only other batsman really to get into double figures would have been Estwick. A delivery which is coming off the outside portion of the batter yet again. Blades not leaving anything out there. Another aggressive shot by Bates. Wait for the signal from the umpire. In fact, there's no signal coming from the umpire, so 2 more to Bates. He's up to 41 in the 50 partnership. Andy Payne, I can hear the spectators putting their hands together. 50 partnership off 26 deliveries, 19 minutes of batting. There have been some 6 fours and 2 sixes. So a good partnership by this pair as a delivery to steer down into the short third man region where Michael Agard is at home and the batsman will complete an easy single.
So Bates, like you said, continue to be aggressive, Kurt. And this man is just trying to take some pace out of it to Bates, but he's still going for his big shots. And LaFawn, who's been a good foil for Bates, Kurt, he's just turning the strike over and getting Bates on strike. He's now come back in the strike. He also picked up a 4 in his innings so well. So this partnership, like we said, is ideal partnership when you want in a run chase.
Short delivery swung backward of square, and this time now LaFawn is not being the foul, he's being the aggressor. A delivery short down the leg side, poorly lined by Giddens, and there's LaFawn good enough to come inside his wicket, hits it behind square where there's no one at home, and a boundary to LaFawn. He picks up his second boundary and the pain, and he score quickly up to 55 without loss as LaFawn now into double figures as well. He's up to 13 from 9 deliveries. This has been a good partnership put together by the veterans so far. 55 without loss and the pain.
They've been doing a good job, Kurt. They're doing it pretty easily as well, picking up these runs, and a lot of boundaries being scored here, Kurt. So in the power play, they've been very aggressive. They put the pressure on the Limers, so have not been able to restrict the scoring at any time, Kurt. As you see LaFawn, like you said, being the aggressor on that occasion and picking up his second boundary of the innings and helping Ron Bates, and what's a very good partnership to start.
It is 1.4 overs, no maidens, none for 18. Continuous balls of leverage being steered to the right of that man at backward point, and there is an easy single. One more to LaFawn, takes him up to 14, brings Ron Bates, who I can assure you is definitely now eyeing up a half century here. He's 42 from 19 balls, 21 minutes of batting, 5 fours and 2 sixes. He's really ignited this innings here of the veterans, really playing as only Ron Bates can. Bates on Gittins. Flighted delivery. Bates is driving off the outside portion, and I can assure you this one will run fairly close to the third man boundary. They've gone for one. They will come back for the second one. Is LaFawn interested in the third? Yes, he is, as the throw which is bringing the keeper away from the stumps allows the batsman to complete 3. And at the end of over number 5, I can tell you, Payne, the veterans really bossing the power player on Bates up to 45, and he will also keep the strike heading into the final over of the batting power play. The veterans in pursuit of a target of 117. There are 59 without loss here at the BNOC ground.
A fantastic start by the veterans, and the prolific Ron Bates continues to be very good in this tournament, Kurt. You know him, he's one who's played the trade for the BET team and the Cable and Wireless team over there in Wildy, and he was always very prolific. He hasn't stopped scoring runs, Kurt, and he's continued to do very, very well here, putting his team in a very good chance to lift this trophy again, Kurt, for the veterans. As they're about to see a bowling change, Kurt, you ask who would get a wicket for them, and they've turned now to Dave Estwick if he's going to do the job for them.
Bates now with that triple pin goes into the 300 run club. 305 runs for the tournament, so now he's all by his lonesome at the top of the leading run scorers chart, and he will definitely be the holder of that orange cap, I can assure you. 59 without loss. Bates on 45. 45 from 20 deliveries. 23 minutes of batting. 5 fours and 2 sixes. Really batting well. He's just faced 4 dot deliveries. A strike rate Payne of 225. Estwick comes into the attack. It's really been some carnage being on offer here by the bowlers from the Limerick side. Estwick, can he be a change? Starts on the different side of the yard stump, and I don't think it's going to be a change. There's another boundary to Ron Bates. Short outside the yard stump. Bates onto the back foot, lofting it over the infield, and another boundary to Ron Bates. He's quickly up to 49. 49, and that's his sixth boundary, Andy Payne.
Kurt, that's his sixth boundary. I think that one's probably the best of the innings so far, Kurt. He hit that one off the back foot with tremendous power, Kurt. It was disdainfully hit, Kurt, just eluding that man in the circle and going all the way out to that cover boundary. But yet another force will do if Estwick is placed under pressure as soon as he's coming to the attack.
So, can Estwick find a good line of length? Can he reel back in Ron Bates? The aggressive, the rampaging Ron Bates. Flight to delivery. Bates is forward. And there's no run. Bates on 49. Probably now getting a bit circumspect as he approaches that half century.
I don't think Bates knows that word, Kurt. Circumspect.
Bates on Estwick. Delivery down the leg side, and Bates is sweeping into the backward square region. He will bring up his half century with a boundary. It's been an innings of extreme aggression here by Ron Bates. 50 coming off 23 balls, 25 minutes of batting, 7 fours and 2 sixes. Bates up to 53 and leading the charge here for the veterans, 67 without loss. Andy Payne.
A very lovely knock at that half century, Kurt. He's playing shots all around the ground, Kurt. He's hit some balls off the back foot over that cover region. One in particular in his previous delivery that was hit shot with disdain. He's playing the sweep shots. He's hit a couple of sixes. So a very good start to his innings.
And another sweep shot. This one goes a little bit finer, but it will also go into the boundary again. So really operating here now like a house on fire, Andy Payne. Ron Bates quickly up to 57. The veterans in pursuit of this target of 117, and they're really making light work of it. No introduction of Dave Clark into the attack. The bowling figures for the Limers really makes interesting reading. Andy Payne. Ken Mears 1 over, no baiters, none for 11. Len Gill 2 overs, no baiters, none for 26. Winston Giddens 2 overs, no baiters, none for 22. And Dave Estwick just into the attack, just 4 deliveries. He's already conceded 12 runs and really under pressure here by the rampaging bat of Ron Bates. 71 without loss. Bates really rolling back the years here, really playing a gem of an innings. Bates on a delivery which is turning into the onside. You said he didn't know a lot about circumspect, but there he is showing a bit of finesse. Though Andy Payne coming inside his stumps and picking up an easy single as all of the fielders now caught flat-footed. Easy single to Ron Bates, 72 without loss.
Yeah, very well played. Just transferred the weight, going on the back foot and filling that gap in the mid-wicket region. Kurt to pick up yet another single, but he's doing so very well. It brings the phone into strike, who's just been a mere spectator, Kurt, and enjoying the exploits of Ron Bates from the other end.
There's LaFawn, with Bates really going at the rate of knots. LaFawn can afford to punch a delivery back to the bowler to close out the batting power play. And at the end of it, Payne, it was really good for the veterans team. They're 72 without loss after 6 overs. 72 without loss. Ron Bates, 58 from 25 deliveries, 27 minutes of batting, 8 fours and 2 sixes. And he's being partnered by Dr. Jeffrey LaFawn, who's got 14.
Yes, good partnership between this pair. Contrasting to see the power plays. You saw when the Limers batted, they were a bit on the back foot, losing some 3 wickets in their power play. But the veterans, on the other hand, they've gone all helter-skelter without losing a wicket. And that man, Ron Bates, been entertaining this crowd who's all around this field. They've been enjoying the spoils by Ron Bates. A good crowd on show here, Kurt, as we've seen on the screens. And they're really being enterprised here by this man here, Ron Bates.
Ron Bates really batted well. He really saved. Some would argue that this innings here was even better than the 100, Andy Payne. He's really playing shots all around the ground and really rolling back the years. He really looks like Ron Bates of old. My producer, Philip Hackett, said not to use the old Ron Bates. As a delivery called dead ball, as Derwin Thompson comes into the attack. Can Derwin Thompson, a former schoolmate of yours, Andy Payne, come into the attack and stem the flow of runs? Delivery driven through the offside. There's a field at home, and Curtis Innes coming off the sweeper boundary, and Bates will pick up a single to pick up the 73rd run of the innings.
Kurt, you spoke about that century that he scored early in the tournament, and it was scored off of this said Limers team, Kurt. They felt his wrath before. So here they are again, feeling it on the second occasion. Ron Bates, he's really loved this bowling, if you can so speak.
Thompson is beating LaFawn with a delivery outside the yard stump, taken by the keeper who's being changed because obviously Derwin Thompson coming into the attack. Someone else will have to pick up the wicket keeping duties, and they've been entrusted Michael Agard, Sr., with those duties. LaFawn really understanding his role, playing a delivery into the offside, thinking about coming back for the second run, but sent back by Ron Bates. And there's only one run. 74 without loss. We're in over number 7. The target is 117. They've got all of 20 overs in which to do so. As Bates waits on Thompson, and Bates is driving through the offside again. A lot of work for Ennis to do, coming around to his race all along the ground, and Ennis with a poor bit of footwork. Another boundary to Ron Bates on the pin, but this one driven all along the ground, and Bates continues to bat well here at the BNOC ground in the finals of the Amas over 50s T20 competition. 78 without loss in pursuit of a target of 117.
Yes, Kurt, like you said, he's playing shots all around the ground, and now the flowing cover drive there, and he's had to run a long way across to his right, not being able to get a hand to it. He tried his foot as well, didn't get that down as well in time, and across the ropes and into the boundary for another 4 as Ron Bates continue carnage.
Delivery outside the yard stump, not taken by the keeper. Wide call by the umpire, so more sundries now to add insult to injury. Should take the score up to 80. 80 without loss and the pain, so it's really been a enterprising, entertaining, and a very good start by the veterans. 80 without loss. The required run rate and the pain 2.78. The current run rate 12. Thompson into LaFawn. LaFawn driving pleasantly down the ground, down to long on. Ken Mears comes around to his.
Yeah, good partnership here between this pair, Kurt. Like you said, LaFawn continues to do a good job just being the perfect partner for Bates, just getting him back on strike as Bates begins to face up to Thompson.
Delivery outside the off stump to close out over number 7 at the end of it. A delivery beating the batsman outside the off stump. At the end of it, Ron Bates and the playing a gem of a knock. 63 from 28 balls, 31 minutes of batting, 9 fours, 2 sixes, a strike rate of 225. The veterans in pursuit of this target of 117 after 7 overs. They're 81 without loss.
Very good start by this pair, Kurt. Just getting these runs down, getting them done quick time. Ron Bates, like you said, if he spend any length of time at the crease, you know, Kurt, he's going to be aggressive. He's going to strike, and he's going to strike high, Ron Bates. And he's done such a good job so far. LaFawn, who's offered some good support to him, just offering that perfect partnership that you want. And they've tried all the bowlers so far to no avail to get a wicket, as introduction of yet another bowler, Kurt, and Dave Clark.
Well, yes, Dave Clark belatedly coming into the attack. Can he stem the flow of runs from the northern end? Remember early in the piece, I also mentioned to you how runs are easily scored from this in northern end. Hitting with the wind, hitting to the short side as well. And Dave Clark now being introduced from this end. 81 without loss. Delivery, which is driven over the captain at that extra cover position in Keith Seal for LaFawn to pick up his 17th run, and the score up to 82 without loss. The target is 117. Remember, the Limers were limited to 116 for 6 in their allocation of 20 overs. A delivery outside the off stump, which is being punched into the onside. The man at home, it looks like the substitute. In fact, Adrian Braffett coming around. Another single to Ron Bates. He's going up to 64, and he scored up to 83 without loss. Clark. Bowls delivery, which is being played neatly down into the fine leg region. They've gone for 1. They will come back rather easily for the second run as the fielder from short third man has a lot of work to do coming around to his left from that position, and the batsman complete to 85 without loss.
That's what's so good about LaFawn, Kurt. You just saw him deflecting that ball coming in onto his leg and working it past the vacant fine leg area for yet another pair. So again, just continue to keep the scoreboard ticking over to help Ron Bates just move the score around.
As Clark into LaFawn. LaFawn is driving off the outside portion of that over that man at backward point. This will run fairly close to the boundary at that backward point region. They've gone for 1. They will complete 2 as the fielder Derwin Thompson in that backward point region has a lot of work to do, and the batsman complete 2 more to add to the score. Takes it up to 87 without loss. I want you to put your captain hat on, or your thinking cap in. What would you do in this position as a captain? I will get back to that after this delivery. as a delivery outside the yard stump and steered into the point region to pick up run number 88 and LaFon's 22nd run. What would you do maybe to take some time out of the game, slow the game down, Andy Payne?
Yeah, probably that would be a good ploy, just slow it down a little bit. But again, once you get Bates on strike, he's a man that can be so aggressive, so he will continue to try to score in boundaries. So it's a hard task trying to slow it down. But that's what you need to do, as Dave Clark is doing, taking pace out of the ball and asking them to use most of the pace as he did in that over, Kurt.
So, at the end of what some would consider a much better over delivered by Dave Clark, just conceding 7 runs. At the end of over number 8, in pursuit of a target of 117, the veterans with Ron Bates on 65, Jeffrey LaFon, his partner, is on 22. They are 89 without loss.
Yes, Kurt, 89 without loss. Just a further 28 runs required for victory. And this pair, they've really batted it so well to get themselves in such a good position. So Ron Bates, like you said, continue to be aggressive. He's done very well in this tournament. Ron Bates, he's the tournament's leading run scorer now. Like you said, going past the 300 mark, continues to prolific, and he's really put the pressure on the Limers team.
As Thompson will continue from the Sovereign, and it is a loud appeal, and the index finger of umpire Alex Bellamy is raised. So Thompson into the attack and picking up a wicket. That of Ron Bates playing a dab outside the all stump. The edge was found and Durbin Thompson picks up the first wicket. 93 for 1. As we have a look at the replay coming up. Outside the all stump there was Bates driving loosely. The edge found, the keeper with a polite inquiry, and the index finger raised. So wicket number 1 goes down. Ron Bates for a well-played 69, Andy Payne 69 off 32 deliveries, 35 minutes of batting, 9 fours and 2 sixes, ready to get this innings going. 93 for 1.
Yes, 93 for 1. A good wicket there by Durbin Thompson. You see him just taking pace out of that one as well, Kurt. Just asking Bates to use all of his power. He's played a long way away from his body. The edge was found. A good catch there taken by keeper Agard. And Thompson's picked up the first wicket. But Kurt, if you think it was some respite, after getting that wicket of that man Ron Bates, entering now is the captain in Brian Johnson.
Yeah, the man with the third highest runs in the tournament as well, 220 runs. So after you've dismissed Ron Bates and you get the wicket of Ron Bates, then you look up from a position of 93 for 1 and you see the incoming batsman is Brian Johnson.
So a very powerful batting lineup. This the veterans. And like you said, that man LaFon being the perfect foil for this. The aggressive Ron Bates, who's now gone, but now his captain in Johnson, he's going to join him in the middle. And this is going to be interesting to see how quickly, Kurt, they can get to this remaining 24 runs required.
93 for 1. Thompson bowls the delivery. Johnson is coming forward. There is no run. Interestingly, Andy Payne, as we look through the list of candidates for the most valuable player in the tournament, Adrian Braffett with his 293 runs, Ron Bates, who would have gone over the 300-run mark, as this delivery is driven through the offside by Johnson, and a boundary to start to get his innings going. So no respite, as you would have mentioned, Andy Payne. A delivery outside the off-stump. Johnson good enough to drive it to the offside. 97 for 1. Johnson, he opens his scoring with a boundary. 97 for 1, Andy Payne.
That's Johnson's strong area, Kurt. He's so strong on that offside, giving room on that offside. He's pierced the field here, and in his running a long way around from his right, Kurt. He had no chance, as that's a strong area there to Brian Johnson, and he's off the mark with a 4.
Delivery, which is bringing the batsman forward this time, tentatively plays into the offside, and there is no run. As we continue that list of MVP candidates, Ron Bates, who would have gone into the 300-run club. Brian Johnson, 220 runs, 6 wickets and 3 catches. Raymond O'Geese at the top of the wicket-taking chart. He would have gone to 16 wickets today. And Andy Payne yourself, 240 runs, and you would have picked up 5 dismissals behind the stumps. 97 for 1. I don't think an MVP will come from a man who was eliminated. Delivery driven through the offside again by Johnson sweetly through the offside, but it was so well timed that he will only get 1 run. In fact, thinking about the second run, but rightly sent back by his partner LaFon as the return is sent down to the non-strikers end. 98 for 1 when over number 9 is being bowled by Derwin Thompson. We are 19 runs away from victory for the veteran side as LaFawn waits on Thompson and he's driving uppish to the right of that man, extra cover down to long off. They've gone for 1 with Adrian Braffett is at home, who underhands is returned up to the non-strikers end. And at the end, no, I make it at the end of over number 9. At the end of it, in pursuit of a target and the pain of 117, which looks now like a real mega target here. The veterans team, Ron Bates, gone for 69. They're 99 for 1.
Gone for 69, but giving a very important start there, Kurt. 99 for 1, like you said, Kurt. Just striking at some 11 runs over, Kurt and Shelley. The spectators here, they're really loving every minute of this. The veterans team, they're very much entrenched on lifting this trophy again, the second consecutive year, and the third time all told, as Dave Clark, who had a very good start to his spell, he'll be entrusted to bowl this the 10th over as we approach the halfway stage.
With 18 runs required, Clark, 1 over, no maidens, just conceding 8 runs and miss all of the carnage. He has a short third man, a man at backward point, a man at extra cover, man on the sweeper, a straightish long off, a wide long on, a man at forward square. LaFawn is tugging this one into the onside. The man from forward square on the boundary has a lot of work to do. They will come back for the second run as Innes gets onto it now and then lobs his return inside the circle where it will be relayed by Adrian Braffett back up to the bowler. 100 comes up. The 100 comes up, 56 deliveries, 40 minutes of batting, 12 fours and 2 sixes. 101 for 1. The veterans really going great guns here. Delivery steered down into the backward point region. They've gone for 1. They will come back for the second run. They will have to hurry. But LaFawn will make his ground. He will pick up his 27th run and the 103 for 1. A double taken there by LaFawn.
Yes, good run in there by LaFawn, Kurt. He's one of the better runners in this tournament. You see, he played that one to the left of Derwin Thompson, who had to go a long way with the chase as well. And he trusted that he doesn't have a strong enough arm to get that one in quickly enough. And it was good enough to come back for the second. 14
runs required. Flight to delivery. LaFawn is driving loose. They had a wide delivery now called by umpire Earl Cullimore. So 13 required pain as we are almost to the halfway stage of this one. 9.2 overs have been completed. 104 for 1. 9.2 overs having been completed. Ron Bates, the batsman, dismissed for a well-played 69 from 32 balls. 35 minutes of batting, 9 fours and 2 sixes. Striking at 215.60. And really batted well to ignite the innings at the top of the order as Clark delivers is being tugged into the onside. A lot of work for the fielder coming around in Innes, who does well. And LaFawn will pick up his 28th run. 105 for 1. They require a further 12 runs now, Andy Payne. So really walking this one home on a canter.
It's a good start there by this team, the veterans, Kurt. That man, Ron Bates, led the way. Captain Brian Johnson coming in to face up now to Dave Clark for his first time.
Outside the off stump and punch away. There's no one at home. This one will run fairly close to the point region boundary. They've gone for 1. They'll come back for the second quite easily. LaFawn this time not at all interested in the third run. 107 for 1. Johnson up to 7. Partnership now worth some 14 runs. The current run rate 11.07. The required run rate 0.97. So you can clearly see really large and in charge of this one. The veterans as Johnson is onto the front foot to keep out a good delivery delivered here by Dave Clark. 1.5 overs, no maidens, none for 16. Tosses the ball from hand to hand. Passes the umpire just about now. A delivery is driven hard. Gets a good bounce in Victor Patrick down at the long off region and does well. Restricts the scoring down to 1 and then sends a wayward return, but it's backed up by Adrian Braffett to close out the 10th over. And at the halfway stage, as the players, I can show you the Limers will take a much needed refreshment break. At the halfway stage, they're 108 for 1 as we take a break.
Any investment in education is a positive step in the development of our society. Call the Calvary Institute. We offer a wide range of vocational and technology courses. We offer personalized support to students at primary and secondary level. Call us at 426-2337 or WhatsApp 851-2109. Any investment in education is a positive step in the development of our society. Call the Calvary Institute. We offer a wide range of vocational and technology courses. We offer personalized support to students at primary and secondary level. Call us at 426-2337 or WhatsApp 851-2109.
108 for one as we resume after the refreshment break. They require a further 9 runs, and they can tell you Derwin Thompson has been pulled out of the attack. 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 19. He's being replaced by Ken Mears as Johnson is cutting a delivery down to the backward point region. This would run fairly close to the boundary. In fact, it doesn't have the legs to get there. The batsman will come back for the third run. It was a chase from the man at backward point. Looks like Gittins, who says his return up to the keeper's end, is being relayed by that man at backward point in Estwick, and the batsman have enough time to complete 3. 108 for 1 quickly turns into 111 for 1. So all of the ones. In the inning so far, there have been 3 extras. 111 for 1 as Mears into Lafon. Lafon is steering the delivery down to that short third man region where the man Gittins comes around to his right, and the batsman have enough time to complete run 112. 112 for 1. Johnson is on 11. He comes back in the strike, and Lafon is on 29. The batsman dismissed. Ron Bates, who just reminded me that he's one of the few batsmen in the country with over 9,000 first division runs. 69 he would have made today off 32 balls, 35 minutes of batting, 9 fours and 2 sixes. As Brian Johnson, who would have been Bates' partner for most of those runs, waits on Ken Mears. Bowls a delivery, which is being punched back to the bowler. For those of you who don't know Ken Mears, he's a former national surfer, as well a man who have flown the flag for the Barbados country of Barbados in the surfboarding arena. Andy Payne?
That's correct, Kurt. He's been along for a long time. He's played straight over at St. Joseph for St. George's Cultural for a long time as well. Bash him a man.
Johnson drives square, but straight to that man at backward point, but he's so deep set. They will pick up an easy single. They will pick up run number 113. Johnson 12, Lafon 29. Interesting reading the figures of the Limers team. They're really making light work of this target. The veteran side delivery tugged into the onside. Johnson quickly gone through for 1. Will he come back for the second run? A misfield by Thompson on the long on boundary will allow him to do so quite easily. So 2 more to the score, 115 for 1, Andy Payne. And if you're not mathematically inclined, that would tell me that they require a further 2 runs for victory. So really walking this one home, really bossing this final in the 5th year of the Amass over 50s T20 competition here at the BNOC ground. So 2 runs away from victory. The veterans team to capture what will be their 3rd title in 5 years. So really, the team really in charge of this competition here as a delivery outside the yard stump is punched back past the bowler down to the man at long off in Adrian Braffett. So I can assure you the scores are tied. And at the end of over number 11, as we head into the final rights of this one, Andy Payne, I quickly want to endeavor to run through the bowling figures. Ken Mears, 2 overs, no middles, none for 19. Len Gill, 2 overs, no middles, none for 26. Winston Giddens, 2 overs, no middles, none for 22. Dave Estwick, 1 over, no middles, none for 13. Derwin Thompson, 2 overs, no middles, 1 for 19, the only wicket taker. And Dave Clark, 2 overs, no middles, none for 17.
Yes, good batting there by the veterans, Kurt. Like we said, they're such a well-oiled unit, Kurt. They play a lot of cricket together. Bates, Johnson, Agar, LaFon, they all play the trade here. Morris at this the BNOC ground these days, Kurt. And they've batted really well. They've played a really good tournament throughout. As a matter of fact, Kurt, to find themselves, I think they've gone some now. This will be the 12th game unbeaten in this tournament, Kurt. So what an impressive showing by them.
So it will be Clark entrusted to bowl over number 12. LaFon is on strike. He's gotten himself up to 32 from 25 deliveries. 50 minutes of batting would have struck 2 fours, striking at 128. So just 1 run required, Andy Payne. All the fielders being asked to come inside the circle. A delivery outside the yard stump, and there's a batsman attempting to play one of those naughty shots, trying to run it down into the 3rd man region, taken by the keeper, and there is no run. 116 for 1 as Clark passes the umpire, goes to LaFon. LaFon is coming out of the front foot, and there is the winning run. The run that will give the veterans their 3rd title in this competition. 5 years of the tournament, and they have been champions on 3 occasions. They will finish on 117 for 1. Johnson will be left unbeaten on 12. Jeffrey LaFon will finish on 33. The man who really did the bulk of the work, though, the veteran in Ron Bates, 69 runs, 32 balls faced, 35 minutes of batting, 9 fours and 2 sixes. And your thoughts on the chase here by the veteran side, Andy Payne?
Easy chase in the end, Kurt. Like you said, small runs can be a bit doubtful when you're chasing them and batting slowly, losing wickets. That didn't happen. There was a fantastic opening partnership between Ron Bates and Jeffrey LaFon, who's coming out at the end, Kurt. But they put the Limers team under a lot of pressure from the beginning. Tremendous knock there by Bates to see his team over the line. He had another half century in this tournament. Like we said, his score got up to over 300 total runs in the tournament. And with that total, Kurt, that's always good for the team. LaFon was a perfect partner, coming not out at the end on 33. And Captain Johnson, 12, just being there at the end to finalize this one, Kurt.
So, Andy, we've come to the end of another successful tournament. And we want you to get close to the man, Ron Bates. In fact, you told me you're going to go to Captain Johnson first. The winning captain, Brian Johnson. So a man with a lot of work to do, Andy Payne. But as we await the presence of the winning captain in Brian Johnson, we just want to behalf of the organizers, we want to thank our sponsors. We just want to mention them rather quickly. He Bees Beauty and Spa, BJ's Auto Care, Jalan's Creations, Ricky's Driving School, Rota Plastics Barbados Limited, JD's Enterprises, Black and White Whiskey, The Last Stop Bar and Eatery, MJA Car Services, Terry's Food Truck, Kermit's Bar, Keep in Touch Inc., Premium World Cargo Inc., the Barbados National Oil Company, and of course the Amass Sporting Services. As we will go straight over to Andy Payne now, who has with him the captain of the victorious veteran side.
Thank you very much, Kirk. Welcome. We have Brian Johnson, the captain of this victorious veterans team. Kurt, like you rightfully said, 3 times champions here. Brian, how does it feel to be the man in the middle to see the runs home at the end?
It feels great.
Well, your team has been a very well-oiled unit, like you said. Quite a lot of players who play the trade here at the BNOC ground. You play a lot together. You know the outfield here well. You know the ground. You know the conditions very good. You came this morning. You were asked to field first, and your bowlers really put you in premier position to start.
Yeah, well, before the game, I just told the guys that we have done well, that we were playing well. This was good cricket right through. All we have to do is continue to do the same thing, just relax and play the cricket we know. And the bowlers put us on top. They bowl well at the top, and the guys that in the middle came in and do what they usually do, and the feeling back up as well too. So with 116 to win, I think our batting was pretty confident that we were just hanging there. And all I did was to tell Ron, you haven't scored runs in the finals for a long time. Just do what you're accustomed to doing, score runs, and he did it today.
Well, as you spoke about that man, Ron Bates, and you asked him to get you some runs in the final, and certainly he did. A player that you know very well. You guys have played quite a lot together, Bates and yourself, and what an impressive innings that was by him here today.
Yeah, that was a magnificent innings. And to finish the tournament with over 300 runs, you know, and this is a short tournament. That is a top player by him throughout the tournament.
Yes.
All I could do is tell Bates congratulations again on well played throughout this tournament, and you really put us on top.
Well, Baron, thank you very much. And we also want to congratulate Ron Bates on a fantastic innings being played here today. He entertained the crowd, he entertained all of us here. He commentated his booth as well. We had a really lovely time by Ron Bates, who did very, very well. I mean, if you can ask Ron Bates to come to us now so we can have an interview with him as well. So Brian has one final word I'm sure he wants to say. Go right ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I want to thank my players again for a well-played tournament. Also, our spectators and supporters who really back us this year. And to everyone that came to this AMAS tournament, well done.
So thank you very much. That's the Captain Brian Johnson of the victorious veterans team. 3 times winners in this AMAS tournament. Congratulations to them. But now we have here the man, Ron Bates. He's definitely going to be our man in the match for today. Ron, what an impressive showing by you out there this afternoon.
Thanks a lot.
300 runs in this tournament. Brian said he asked you to score runs in the final. You haven't scored runs in the final for a long time. A man who have played a lot with you. And what were your feelings going out there to start the innings?
Well, initially I was full of confidence, especially against the Limers. And as a determination, Victor Patrick had gotten me out a few times. So I was always determined to score runs against the veterans. And after the 100, I figured that I had the Indian sign on him.
Yeah, so you got a century against him in your previous innings in the tournament, and you came here again today at 69. But tell us a little bit about the pitch. You know this area so very well. You play here during the domestic season, and you body like a man who really knows the conditions here today.
Well, congratulations to Brian and Dave for doing a very good job all season with the wicket. And it turned out to be a good wicket again today. So it was easy to play 3 line of the ball. And I realized that majority of the bowlers throughout the tournament were back pitching the ball. I mean, scared the ball a little full. But I can play the ball off the back foot just as good.
Well, you play some really impressive shots off the front foot, the back foot. You play some good sweep shots as well. And you entertain us all here today, Ron Bates. So I want to congratulate you for an outstanding tournament and today's performance as well. Continue, Ron, and we look forward to seeing you here again.
Thanks a lot, and congratulations to the veterans and my whole team. And my opening partner LaFawn, who've been running very well with me throughout this tournament.
Yes, yourself and LaFawn did very well, as did the whole veterans team. So congratulations to the veterans and to you, Ron Bates. If I ask Keith Seal now to have a word with us, the losing captain, the Limers, you came here today, Keith. You won the toss, you elected to bat it first. You can tell us a little bit about your decision.
Well, I think in my opinion, the pitch was good. Once the pitch is good and the weather had gone over, we decided we'll take a first knock, put runs on the board, and then try to defend them. Unfortunately, we didn't get the score that we would have liked.
Yeah, it wasn't what you wanted to score in the final. You came off a pretty well-played semi-final against us, the Legends, and you put us on the pressure. I thought today to start, you needed some early wickets, but your bowlers didn't give you that.
Yeah, and I think all credit goes to the opening pair. I think Ron and Jeffrey batted very well. They didn't allow the bowlers to hit the lengths. They didn't allow them to bowl the way they wanted to bowl. So all credit goes to the batsmen, and congratulations to veterans.
I'm sure you will say something to your fans who supported you throughout the tournament and through the last couple of years. Your manager and Jeremy Allen there.
Well, we have had a lot of support, a lot of friends and family of the Limers, and we would just like to let them know that this is not the end of Limers. So at the end of the day, I think we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll come back next year and see what happens.
Well, thank you very much, Keith. So, from the end of us here, two very good teams who played very well through all tournament. They had a very good tournament. They've came to the third final, each of these teams. The veterans, they get in the bed of the Limers. I'm sure we'll look forward to seeing them here again next year as we go right into our presentation ceremony. It's just Anthony Morris, the man from Amas. He's here very much with us, and I'm sure he'll have the master ceremonies as well to just show us into the presentation ceremony.
So as we head into the presentation ceremony, we've got with us the real chief cook and bottle washer. So before we get into that presentation, I want you to offer us a few words, Mr. Morris, on the 5th year of the tournament, what has gone well for the tournament, and where you would like to see the tournament going as we prepare to start presenting those prizes that I'm sure that the players really would like to get into.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for turning out for the whole tournament. I think the crowds got bigger and bigger as the tournament went on. It shows that we are growing every year. So once again, thank you to everybody. And we're looking forward to next year for the 6th year, and hopefully be bigger and better.
So as we head straight into the presentation for this year's proceedings, we're going to start with the MVP of the over 16 competition. I can tell you that is going to be the man from the Warriors side. Mr. Keith Seal, the MVP for the over 16s competition, Mr. Keith Seal, for his performance. Being presented by Mr. Antonio Morris, the son of Mr. Anthony Morris, and also from our sponsor, Keep in Touch. Keith, don't leave us just yet. Remember, the Warriors would have won the series 2-1, and Keith Seal being presented with the Champions Trophy as well as the MVP trophy. The champions in this one will win 500 Barbados dollars or 250 US, and they will also be presented with their gold medals and the winner's shield. So we'll ask the players from the Warriors team who are on hand here with us to come forward to collect your medals at this time. This team was captained by Wilbert Bruce. See guys like Emerson Jordan coming forward. Keith Seal, who would have just gotten the MVP award as well, will come forward as well. Presented again by young Antonio Morris, a man who's been good enough to play for the West Indies on the 19 team and looking visions of representing Barbados at some stage. We've got Mr. Cam Gittins, Winston Cam Gittins. We've got the oldest man, some would argue, in the tournament, Mr. Pandora, coming up as well. We've got the man with the most injuries in Barbados, Mr. Gregory Gaskin, coming forward as well. And we've got a man good enough to have represented the Barbados B team, bringing up the rear, and a man with the name of Mr. Vibert Green, who would have played his trade for the Wanderers side. We've also got Mr. Robert Headley, who would have played his trade for the Spartan Club in his heyday. So we've got some representatives here, Andy Payne, from the Warriors team, the champions in the over 60s competition. We want to thank you for participating with us in this year's edition of the Amas over 60s tournament. We will ask someone on the behalf of the captain of the Warriors team who is not here, Mr. Keith Seal. We're going to entrust you with that responsibility to come forward and collect the winner's check as well as the shield. So put your hands together for Mr. Keith Seal. The first time we'd have gone to the over 60s version of the Amas tournament, and the winners the first time the Warriors collected there by Keith Seal. We're going to ask Adrian Morris to come forward to do the presentation, because in any cricketing tournament, you cannot have cricket without a good 22 yards surface and the paint. We want to make a presentation to the groundsman, Mr. Skeet. We're going to ask Mr. Skeet to come forward. I want all of you to put your hands together for Mr. Skeet, because the surfaces here have been brilliant. With a batsman getting up to 300 runs, two other batsmen getting over 250 PN, surfaces would have had to be good. We also want to make a presentation to our score, Miss Kamisha Wilson. She's been here for all of the games, keeping us up to date with all the information we would have needed. And we want to thank her as well on behalf of the Amas Sporting Services team. And as in any big event, somebody must be in charge of the rules. We want to invite the two officials for today's final, Mr. Earl Cullimore and Mr. Alex Bellamy, to come forward. They've done, I can tell you that all of the umpires who have been employed in the tournament, they've done a brilliant job. I want you to put your hands together for the umpires, the officials, the match officials. They've done yeoman work in this tournament, as Mr. Bellamy will collect firstly. And then we will ask Mr. Earl Cullimore, really a veteran, really in the umpiring arena, to come forward and collect his prize as well. We will go straight into the special awards right now. We're going to ask Miss Suzette Ward to come forward to make this presentation for us, if she's not here. We're going to ask Mr. Morris, again, the younger version and better looking version as well, to come forward and make this presentation for us. No, better looking at the old Miss Morris. We're going to first start with Troy Topping from the Challengers side, the first 5-wicket haul in the 5 years of this competition. And he also, put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, picked up a trick as well. Troy Topping from the Challengers side, or anyone on his behalf can this as well. Anyone from the Challengers? Or Robert Haley, you're from St. Lucie, you can come forward and collect on his behalf. You're close enough to him. So we'd invite Mr. Robert Headley to come and collect on his behalf. Remember, this is for Troy Topping. Special award, picking up the first 5-wicket haul in the tournament, also inclusive of a hat trick. 2 overs, no middens, 5 for 5. And then another special award. This one will go to Mr. Ron Bates. The first 100 in the tournament, 108 versus the Limers, an attack that he really seemed to have liked in this year's edition. So put your hands together for Ron Bates. So now we will ask the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer, Mr. Morris, to come forward as we make some presentations to the sponsors who have been with us for the 5 years of the competition and the pain. We're going to start firstly with BJ's Auto Care, as Mr. Best will come forward and accept on their behalf. Remember, before anything, you really need sponsors, and we want to show the sponsors that we appreciate their sponsorship. The Last Stop Bar and Eatery. LaFawn will receive on behalf of Mr. Cleveland Grant. Premier World Cargo Inc. A representative from Premier World Cargo Inc. as Mr. Rice will come forward. We just want to show you our appreciation here from the Amas family for being with us for the 5 years duration of this tournament. And the Barbados National Oil Company Limited, they would have lent us these proper facilities and the paying top-notch facilities. Commissioner Wilson will accept on their behalf. We are now going to ask Mrs. Deirdre Estwick to come forward. The best fielder to present the award for the best fielder. They will get a trophy and a cash award. I can tell you that the best fielder has been awarded to Adrian Jones of the Legend side. He will also get a spa voucher from Hebe's Beauty and Spa. He will also receive cash and a trophy. Adrian Jones. As Victor Best will collect on his behalf. As Victor Best will collect on his behalf.
We going live, you know.
This is Adrian Jones collecting on his own behalf, finally. The spa voucher being presented by Hebe's Beauty and Spa. And the best wicket keeper in the tournament, Mr. Pedro Agard from the veteran side. He will receive the same thing, a trophy, a cash award, and a spa voucher at Hebe's Beauty and Spa for his 4 dismissals in the tournament. 6, correction. We are going to ask Mr. Terry Seeley from Terry's Food Truck to come forward to make the next presentation. A man who would have been good enough to represent Barbados in football, also be one of the big boys in the Barbados Football Association, now running his own business, coming on board with us, Andy Payne. Terry Seeley. And we're going to make this presentation to the bowler with the most wickets in the tournament. And without a shadow of a doubt, I can tell you that that's Raymond O'Geese. 16 wickets in the tournament. And he would have represented the champion side, the veteran side. So anytime you have the batsman with the most runs and the bowler with the most wickets, you're going to boss most competitions. And the wicket keeper with the most dismissals as well. We are going to ask Mr. Seeley to stay with us. Mr. Seeley to stay with us, as we will now make the presentation for the batsman with the most runs in the competition. And you would have heard me saying it all afternoon long. Ron Bates, the man wearing the orange cap, and he paying 329 runs in total. A breakout year for him. Being presented by Mr. Terry Seeley from Terry's Food Truck. Congratulations to you, Ron Bates. A man who reminded us that he has over 9,000 runs in First Division cricket and the pain. So we want to say thank you, Mr. Seeley. We're going to ask now Miss Lana Nurse to come forward. And she will be making this presentation on behalf of the Kermit's Bar, one of the sponsors who will come on board as well, as we present the 3rd place in this year's competition. This will go to the Legends, also a part of Jalan's as well. Best, the captain of the Legends side, will collect on his team's behalf for third place. They will collect $500, I can assure you. And the second place team, we're going to ask Mr. Norman Rice to come forward to make this presentation. $1,500 Barbados to the team which would have finished second. And I can assure you that if you lose the final pain, more often than not, you would finish second. So we want to invite the captain of the Limers team to come forward, Mr. Keith Seal, to accept on behalf of his side. We've got a couple man of the match presentations as we head into the big presentations, the one you're waiting for. We've got the player of the eliminator. They would receive a voucher from the last stop bar and eatery. And I can tell you that that player in the eliminator was Raymond O'Geese for his spell of 4 overs, no middles, 4 for 26. We're going to ask Lana Nurse to come forward again. Lovely Lana Nurse. For those of you who don't know her, don't want to let you know though that she's the mother of the former West Indies player Ashley Nurse. And she's been around cricket for a long, long time, joining us here. Don't leave us yet, Lana. We want you to stay with us as we want you to make the presentation now to the player of the semi-final. Another voucher from the last stop bar and eatery to Ken Mears for his man of the match performance. 2 overs, no maidens, 3 for 6. So once again, thank you, Lana. As we're going to ask a representative from the Keep in Touch Inc. to come forward. Mark Seeley, I've been told, is here. Man of the match in today's final for a knock of 69, 32 deliveries, 9 fours and 2 sixes. The man wearing the orange cap. I can tell you, man of the match in today's final in the 5th edition of the Amas over 50s T20 competition will go to Ron Bates. Ron, it looks like you will receive some more funds as we've got another special prize for you. Outside of the man of the match, we've also got the player of the finals. And yet again, that one will go to Ron Bates again. So we'll ask you to stay, representative from Keep in Touch, as we want to present now the MVP of this year's tournament. There were some firm contenders, but I can tell you in the end, the judges, the second panel, realized that a man with 329 runs, 69 in the finals, the MVP for this year's 2025 edition of the Amas over 50s competition will go to Ron Bates, the man wearing the orange cap, who would have done exceeding well, 329 runs, the only century in the tournament, a half century in the finals, and deserving of this award, Mr. Ron Bates. So now we are going to ask a big man in all stretches of the imagination, a legend of cricket in Barbados. We want to put your hands together to warmly welcome, firstly, Mr. Joel Garner to come forward. So we're going to ask the captain of the veterans team to line his players up as we will make the presentation of the medals to the winner of this year's edition of the Amas over 50s T20 competition. They will be led by Captain Brian Johnson. I'm sure that Mr. Garner will be very familiar with Mr. Johnson. We will ask him to lead his players forward. Brian Johnson, I think I'm good enough to name all of the players for you. Ron Bates, as usual, following very closely behind Brian Johnson. Jeffrey Lafon. Aidan Archer. Orion Bostic. Mr. Winston Waring. Mike Matthews. Mr. Anthony Morris, with Joel Rose, the chief cook and bottle washer, and a member of the veteran side, really changing his jersey for this one. Mr. Ian Drakes. Mr. Leon Lane from Rotoplastics Barbados Limited, also one of the sponsors coming on board. Mr. Pedro Agar. Mr. Alan Young, the brother of Anthony Dunbar Young, and Mr. Raymond Ogis, and the manager, a man, a former Doberman, who spends a lot of time at the BNOC ground, Mr. Merritt, bringing up the rear, as a good manager should. So now we're going to ask the captain, Mr. Brian Johnson. Don't leave us as yet, Mr. Garner. We want you to present the winner's check and the challenge shield to the captain of the veteran side. None other than your personal friend, Mr. Brian Johnson, will come forward and collect on behalf of his team. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the winners of this year's 2025 years tournament of the Amas over 50s competition. And that will bring us to the end of this year's presentation. I want to say thank you to Mr. Garner. Thank you, the legend. As we come to the end of this year's presentation, the last thing to do now is to have a picture with the champions coming forward in front of the banners. We want all of the members of the veterans team to come forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. So, as we get ready to wrap up here, I just want to remind you that the veterans team who are getting ready to celebrate the champions of 2025, getting over the line by some 9 wickets against the Limers team. Remember, in pursuit of a target of 117 for victory, they would have gotten up to 117 for 1. Ron Bates on 69. So the 2025 champions here, the celebratory veteran side, getting over the line by some 9 wickets.
So that is us from us here for the presentation party. And also from our producer, Mr. Philip Hackett, our fellow commentator, Kurt Sean, our man, David Waterman, the guru, the technical man. I want to say, on behalf of others, this is it for us, signing out. Thank you all.
Any investment in education is a positive step in the development of our society. Call the Calvary Institute. We offer a wide range of vocational and technology courses. We offer personalized support to students at primary and secondary level. Call us at 426-2337 or WhatsApp 851-2109.